Is over the Aviva Stadium. Ireland-Gibraltar is on the way. 7:45 kickoff. Live commentary for you here on Off the Ball. You will get us at Off the Ball on Twitter. 53106 if you want to get in touch. Alongside me and on commentary duty will be Nathan Murphy. Hello.
How are you?
Very well. I don't exaggerate, do I? It is a beautiful evening in Dublin.
It's glorious. A little bit chilly, but perfect conditions.
Yeah.
There could be no excuse.
You would think so. The Irish team are here. They had a delay on the way. The bus crashed. Nothing too serious.
And it almost crashed again, actually, in the tunnel under the stadium. I was just waiting to get the lift up here as they arrived in, and it went smashing off some sign above them. I thought, I'm hoping it's not an omen for what's to come.
Well, they've made it, and they're out warming up to our right, as is their usual spot. And Gibraltar are out now as well. They're warming up too. We have our team in. It's going to be a 4-4-2 this evening from Mick McCarthy. You might hear it being announced on the tannoy behind me. Darren Randolph, of course, starts and go. Back four stays the same. Seamus Coleman, Duffy and Co as centre halves. Enda Stevens in this evening. Two changes overall. It's a 4-4-2 by the looks of things. Callum Robinson will come in for Robbie Brady. He's going to play on the right hand side, it would appear. Conor Howrahan and Jeff Hendrick start in the centre of midfield. James McLean makes his 66th appearance for Ireland this evening. And then the other change is Scott Hogan, who comes in for his fourth cap, and he will be alongside David McGoldrick. So it's Coleman, Duffy, Keogh, Stevens in front of Darren Randolph. It's Callum Robinson, Conor Howrahan, Jeff Hendrick and James McLean across the midfield. Scott Hogan and David McGoldrick up front, Nathan. There was really no need for, I would think, the presence of Glenn Whelan this evening, so a second striker, a no-brainer.
No, absolutely not, and it's a good positive change from Mick McCarthy, and also he needs these players to score goals. 3 of our 4 strikers are starting tonight. None of them have ever scored an international goal. That should change for at least 1 or 2 of them, you would imagine, this evening, and it is very positive. Again, there's no Matt Doherty, which maybe is something of a surprise. James McLean can perhaps count himself lucky to have retained his place after his performance the last night, but Callum O'Dowda was somebody who everybody spoke about during the training camp in the last couple of weeks as really impressing Mick McCarthy, and that he may well have played against Denmark. Didn't even come off the bench, doesn't get his spot tonight, so a little bit of a twist there. I think that maybe both Robinson and Hogan in particular, who seems to have leapfrogged Shawnee Maguire. It's hard to see where Shawnee Maguire is going to fit in for the Republic of Ireland, aside from you're at home against a bigger team and you're behind and they're pressing high, and maybe he can use that pace at some stage. But he didn't obviously impress in Gibraltar, Shawnee Maguire. There was no real opportunity for him that night at all. So it's a first competitive start for Scott Hogan, who hasn't played a huge amount of club football this year. Callum Robinson has done well over the last few months since he returned from injury. David McGoldrick obviously had an outstanding season for Sheffield United in their promotion. But all in all, it's what you would expect, and hopefully Hendrick and Howrahan, they're the two who I think we put most focus on this evening, because they are going to play, I think, every big game over the next couple of years. They need to be able to dominate possession. I didn't think they were as bad as a lot of people on Friday night. Okay, they struggled to get control of the ball and hold on to possession enough, but we've seen Hendrick drift out of games a lot. We've seen him sort of almost Rory McIlroy-esque, the shoulder slump. It's not his night. I don't want to say he gives up, but the game just passes him by. He sort of refused to let that happen. Kept fighting, kept battling, kept getting himself involved. Nothing really came off from him, but this is the sort of game where the two of them should be thinking, yes, give us the ball, let's have 70-75% possession and run the show.
It seems Mick McCarthy really has made his mind up on Matt Doherty on the right wing and Sean Maguire based on that tricky day away to Gibraltar, first day out, and they're going to have to fight very hard to get back in the team. You mentioned Callum Robinson, 6 appearances, no goals. Scott Hogan, 3 appearances, no goals. David McGoldrick, who's been really, really good, 8 appearances, no goals. So that will have to change this evening. I agree with you on Copenhagen, by the way. I thought it was vastly different type of performance to the 0-0 draw there under Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane, especially that first half. And what's become apparent over the past 24 hours, we'll play some Mick McCarthy's press conference in a moment. He has made the point that he doesn't plan on meddling too much with a winning team, and frankly, why would he? In a year's time, this is Stephen Kenny's problem. He's in a sprint to make it to Euro 2020, and why would he worry about bloody new players this evening? He wants to win and win well.
Mick McCarthy's job is to resurrect Irish football. Stephen Kenny's job is to revolutionise Irish football. And Mick McCarthy, I'm even in a way surprised he made the 2 changes, because in a way, what's to be gained from making changes tonight? If Callum Robinson is exceptional and scores a hat-trick out there, does it tell you anything? Does it mean that when they play Switzerland in September, that he's done enough to earn a starting spot ahead of Robbie Brady? I'm not quite sure, but there'll be huge pressure on. The back four was never going to change. So I agree. I think there was a good energy. That's the main thing you want. It had fallen unbelievably flat, and I heard Dan McDonald talking about this on Saturday, that we're never going to lose what Irish football is about in one way, which is a lot of fight, a lot of heart. That has to be the starting point. We'll take it from there, I think, over the next couple of years with Stephen Kenny, but Mick McCarthy doesn't have a 2-week training camp isn't going to be enough to change the entire structure of Irish football and the amount of passing, and I think it was fine. I think they deserved a point away from home.
Just about, yeah. I was looking here in the media pack, they have the venues for Euro 2020, and it certainly copper fastens the sense that it will be extraordinary next year to have one of the, several of these games in Dublin. The venues for 2020, Wembley Stadium, the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, Baku Stadium in Baku, St. Petersburg Stadium, the stadium in Copenhagen, Parken Stadium, the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam, stadium in Bucharest, Hampden Park in Glasgow, the Estadio San Mamés in Bilbao, the Allianz in Munich, the Puskás Stadium in Budapest, and Dublin, Aviva Stadium, the end. It's fantastic.
It is, and I think as it sort of comes into focus more, people will realise that a lot of what happens next is already planned out. So if Ireland qualify, we'll be in the same group as Spain, because Dublin has been paired with Bilbao. We don't know whether that game would be in Dublin or in Bilbao. Also where Ireland would go from there, so we could well be back in Copenhagen. We'd like to be back in Copenhagen. It would mean that Ireland finish second in their group. How they end up in that group is what matters, I guess, that whether they finish in the top two in this group or they end up going through that Nations League playoff. We actually won't know the fixtures that are in Dublin until next March, until about 2.5 months, maybe even 10 weeks before the games take place. It's going to be a most unusual tournament, but I imagine playing Spain here in the first game. I'm frightened.
Just before we talk to Stuey Byrne, and Philip Quinn from the Mail will join us as well. Nathan was in Copenhagen on Friday. You may have read the headlines, Seamus Coleman talking to Nathan about his blood boiling, given what the Danish players have made of Irish football. Here's just a quick snippet from Friday, if you didn't catch the Irish captain.
Definitely happy with the result, especially going 1-0 down and scoring so late on. Definitely gives you that little added boost, and I thought we played well at times. We probably went 1-0 down and decided to play a bit, which going forward we need to, as players on the pitch, we need to take, I've said it loads, we need to take a bit more responsibility and help the man in the ball, and manager wants us playing football as much as we can as well. So I thought when we went 1-0 down, we played well, and thankfully we got the goal and we kept going for it as well.
That comeback, was that sparked by anything? Did you have time to have a quick chat when the goal went in to say, let's not drop the heads, there's 15 minutes left, we can get back into this?
Not really. You don't have much time to do any of that. You do the odd, cliche, come on lads, let's keep going, or whatever. But the lads kept digging in. Judger came on and I thought he made a difference. Great ball in, great goal by Duffy. But no, we fully believed, those 15 minutes or so left, I fully believed that we'd score a goal, and then when we did get the goal, I thought we might have got another, but on the other hand we did ride our luck at times as well.
Mick had been saying, I think since March, that he wanted the away performances to be different, to be aggressive, to get out, to set a tempo, and you were saying that as well. The last couple of weeks that you had together, was that something you worked on, and did you think you delivered that on the pitch tonight? Yeah,
we tried our best to deliver it. They're a great team, and sometimes we tried to press them and they just played around us. The wingers were tucking in very narrow to areas where it was difficult for the fullbacks to go with them. So they're a clever team and they've done well at times, but we were positive. We tried to play in the front. We tried not to let them play out, and it is something that we talked about for the last couple of weeks.
You've got a fairly thick skin. I think you can brush criticism aside usually. Did what Denmark had to say over the last few weeks piss you off a little bit? Did angry Seamus Coleman come out tonight?
Oh, it did. Blood was boiling, but in press conferences you've got to stay, professional. There's no point fueling any fires. You never know with these things. Have they been said like they've been said or what? So, but it definitely did get a mention beforehand and did give you that extra motivation without shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, what was it about these comments compared to, because as you've acknowledged, the team has got criticism over the last while. Was it that it was from fellow professionals?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I think someone said you can change the manager but you can't change the players, and you're thinking, hold on a minute here. But as I said, I don't know, was that exactly how it was said or not? So we've got to go with what we've read, and I read it and was obviously a bit annoyed by it, and made sure to mention it beforehand that we got good players, and another thing we have is great fighting spirit, and going for look, we've done nothing yet. They'll be eager to come to Dublin and try and put one over on us as well, and we've got Gibraltar coming up, so we've done absolutely nothing yet, but it's a good start.
Yeah, get the job done Monday night. 10 points from 12 is a pretty decent start.
Yeah, that's all we can do, is give us confidence, and we can go away, enjoy our summer and get prepared for the games coming up, and as I said, nothing done yet.
There we are, Seamus Coleman speaking to Nathan. His blood boiling.
He was very agitated about it. Even in the pre-match press conference, I was surprised that he was quite honest and said, actually, yeah, I wouldn't do that. It's not the sort of thing professionals do to each other. Yeah. The one comment that annoyed them, because obviously Thomas Delaney's comment that we heard was pretty much spot on. What Christian Eriksen said about being, quite negative was spot on the previous performances. Yeah. I think it was the line from Matthias Jorgensen of, you can change the manager, but you can't change the players, was the one that really riled them up. And Coleman obviously brought that up in the pre-match team talk of, these guys don't think you're any good. Yeah. Get out there and prove them wrong. And so I think Coleman, again, Friday night was very impressive, particularly in the second half, sort of took control of the situation. There were times when he tried to get the ball down and play. There was no great link-up, unfortunately, with Robbie Brady down that right wing, but just another very solid performance, and turned into such a leader in this team now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit old school. It's a bit putting it on the back of the dressing room door. It doesn't actually manifest itself as passing, but hey, listen, if it gets you up for a game, no harm, I suppose. We'll play Mick McCarthy in a couple of moments' time. Before we go to an ad break, I want to let you know, as I'm sure you have heard by now, Off the Ball is heading off for some winter sun and some top-class golf, and we want you to join us. The OTB crew, along with special guests Kevin Kilban, Kieran Donaghy, Peter Lowry and more, are taking on two of the best courses on the planet, the Yaz Links and the National, for the first ever Off the Ball Open this November. It's 5 nights in a 4-star hotel, Peter Lowry Golf Clinic, a gala dinner and an OTB roadshow this November 17th to 23rd in Abu Dhabi. If that sounds like your kind of thing, then you can sign up now and get all the information at offtheball.com/open. A short break as we continue our build-up here at the Aviva Stadium. We'll play some more Mick McCarthy was saying yesterday, and we'll talk to Philip Quinn as well from the Mount.
Off the Ball on News Talk. The Eason Book Club on the Pat Kenny Show.
This month, Eason recommended 4 books for us: The Doll Factory by Elizabeth MacNeil, Being Various by Lucy Caldwell, What Red Was by Rosie Price, and our Eason Book Club of the month for June is Dublin Palms by Hugo Hamilton. The narrator of this book has returned to Dublin to set up home with his partner Helen and their 2 children. Their lives are filled with optimism, but also a sense of dislocation. Overshadowed by the troubles in the north, their family enterprise begins to come apart. As the creditors line up to be paid, they must consider leaving everything behind. What will they gain when they stand to lose all? We'll be reviewing the book from cover to cover on Thursday, June 13th with Claudia Carroll, James Kavanagh and Caroline Foran.
The Eason Book Club on the Pat Kenny Show, sharing book recommendations with book lovers every month.
Do join us and discover more at newstalk.com/Eason's Book Club.
Thinking of switching to electric? Then come along to the Nissan Electric Dealer event at your local Nissan dealership and learn from the EV experts. From June 4th to 16th, your local Nissan dealer is hosting a special event to answer everything you need to know about owning an electric car. We've been selling electric cars since 2010, so you won't get better advice. Get all charged up and visit the Nissan Electric Dealer event June 4th to 16th, or book your electric test drive at nissan.ie. Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Escape to a country estate this summer, making time for family and friends at the 5-star Mount Juliet Estate. Experience fine dining in our Michelin-star restaurant, The Lady Helen, or homegrown delicacies in The Hand, our Michelin Plate restaurant. Indulge in estate activities on our Jack Nicklaus signature-designed golf course and equestrian trails, or rejuvenate in our relaxing treatment suites and health club. Our range of estate activities, including Mount Juliet Juniors Club, ensures every guest gets the most from their getaway. To view and book our summer packages, visit mountjuliet.ie.
A storage story, brought to you by Nesta.
So why are you putting your home gym equipment into storage?
Well, I had to make room for my boyfriend who's moving in. His name is Jim, and he's got
So it's a case of Jim moving in and Jim moving out?
Yeah, should make for more enjoyable workouts, though.
Behave.
Nesta Storage. Make room for life.
Bruce Betting, one of Ireland's leading bookmakers. With best odds guaranteed on UK and Irish horse racing, Bruce Betting has you covered. And with the Bruce Betting app, we're always giving you more. T's and C's apply. Bruce Betting, in-store, online and now on your phone. Over 18s, please gamble responsibly. See dunlewy.net.
Fiona Byrne from 29 Woodstock Green Nace gave us her blessing to say this month she's working nights. Her pedigree pooch, Pebbles, and vintage record collection will be home alone. Pebbles resides in a basket while Bert Bacharach and co live on the sitting room shelf, above the stereo. Night shift? No worries. The Phone Watch sale is now on. Get Phone Watch installed for just €199. Call 1850 500 900 today. Monitoring fees apply. Offer ends this Friday.
It's not all fun and games being the dog in this family. The excuses I get when it's time for a run. It's lashing out. The beach is miles away. The dog ate the car keys. They've got nothing to worry about. They've got AA car insurance. They can drive any car. Newsflash for you, listen to me. I only ate the keyring. And I'd do it again.
With AA car insurance, our members get fully comprehensive insurance to drive other cars too. Go to the AA.ie. Who's got clever car insurance? Excludes value product. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. AA Ireland Limited Trading as AA Insurance is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Join Off the Ball in Abu Dhabi this November 17th to 23rd for the inaugural Off the Ball Open. With flights from Dublin, 5 nights in a 4-star hotel, golf on 2 championship courses, gala awards dinner, Peter Lorry golf clinic and a live Off the Ball roadshow. So where else would you get it? The inaugural Off the Ball Open. Book now at CassidyTravel.ie and check out offtheball.com.
Nissan's latest innovation is the van that never gets old. Buy any 192 Nissan van and replace it with a new van every 3 years from just €49 per week ex-VAT. Plus get 3 years free motor tax and 3 free services. Visit nissan.ie. Nissan. Innovation that excites. Finance offers for business users only. Finance is provided by AIB Leasing Limited by way of a leasing agreement. Allied Irish Banks plc and AIB Leasing Limited, trading as AIB Finance and Leasing, are regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Eligibility, lending criteria, terms and conditions apply.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Now you're very welcome back to the Aviva Stadium. We are about 20 minutes away from Ireland against Gibraltar. Team news, if you're just tuning in, a 4-4-2 this evening. 2 changes from Friday night in Copenhagen. Randolph once again in goal. Once again a back four of Seamus Coleman, Duffy and co centre half pairing. Enda Stevens in this evening as well. We have flat midfield 4, Callum Robinson making his 7th appearance still to score for Ireland. Midfield duo Conor Howran and Jeff Hendrick. We have James McLean making his 66th appearance for Ireland this evening. Up front, Scott Hogan and David McGoldrick will be leading the line. We have Philip Quinn from the Mail and the Mail on Sunday with us. Afternoon, sir. Evening, sir, indeed.
Oh, hello, Joe.
It's so bright it feels like the afternoon. Beautiful scene.
Yes, real sort of midsummer feel to it, all right. But I have to be a little bit concerned about the there's no real buzz about the place just yet. It's very quiet, very empty.
This is what happens when you know you're going to win in advance, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe people think it's going to be too easy, and maybe it will be too easy. I mean, McCarthy yesterday he was a little bit shall we say scorpy when I put it to him that, would it be nice to have play expansive football and win by 4 or 5 goals, and he kind of went, hey Quinna, I'll take 1-0 off someone's backside in the last minute. It's all about results, and it is about results, Joe, don't get me wrong, but a little bit of style wouldn't go amiss, and a few goals. You've touched upon the team that's been picked tonight, and there's very few goals in that team, and this is an opportunity for guys who haven't got on the score sheet yet to finally get off the mark. It'd be lovely to have a 4 or 5-0, we can sit back and put our feet up and smoke the pipe and reach for the slippers. I think it's going to happen as well.
Callum Robinson 6 caps, no goals. Scott Hogan 3 caps, no goals, and David McGoldrick has been very good, 8 caps, no goals. So you don't need to be John Nash really to figure out the statistics there and what has to improve. What did you make of Friday night?
I was encouraged by it. I didn't go along with everybody's view that we were under the caution on the back foot completely in the second half. We actually broke out a couple of times while the Danes had that spell, and yet again we saw the Irish teams tend to react when they go behind us. We showed a bit of spark in the last 10 minutes, but yet again, Joe, we scored a nice goal, but it was from a set piece, and the goal against Georgia here was a set piece. The goal against Gibraltar wasn't too bad. It was a bit of creativity, I suppose, but we're relying too much on set pieces. I don't know, is Stuart coming in here?
No, we'll talk to him later on.
Okay, well, his thoughts on that. But yeah, look, we need to get a few goals from open play. I think it's a very significant result, Joe, in the context of the group. Because if you look at it, Switzerland didn't play. They're not playing this time of the year because they're in the Nations League. They're now playing catch-up.
Yeah.
And if we get a win tonight, and we should, that'll put us on 10 points, 6 points ahead of Switzerland, who come here in September the 5th. We generally play well in September. We look at our results early on. That time of the year, and we could actually put them out of it and put ourselves in a very strong position to qualify. The fixtures have broken well for McCarthy here, and the performance on Friday is one of the reasons that we're actually in this position. The Danes were stunned, and McCarthy made that point yesterday. They were all cock-a-hoop when they got the lead goal, and then when we got the equaliser, they were almost like the party balloon had burst. And I'm wondering, Joe, will they be able to pick themselves up, which you would expect of professional players?
Yeah.
They're playing Georgia tonight. Could that be a potential booby trap?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. They're home to Georgia this evening. McCarthy has been fairly clear on the point you raised there. He'll take a 1-0 win tonight. For him, really, all of the, Nathan Murphy, even earlier on we were chatting, he said, for McCarthy and Irish football, it's about a resurrection. For Stephen Kenny, it's about revolution. And really, in a year's time, McCarthy's signing off. It's over to you, Stephen. This is a sprint for him.
Is he?
Yes. Technically, yes.
Well, now you said technically, yeah. I think that's a matter for another debate.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, we'll have to see. But
well, let's picture it, Joe. Let's just go down a certain road here. Let's say we're here in a year's time, and we're playing in the European Championships. We're playing 2 matches here in the group, and McCarthy gets us out of the group, and the crowd are screaming, "We want Mick," and the players are coming out and saying, "We want Mick." Where does that leave the FAI?
Oh, totally. But look, I was dead against this setup when it was first announced, and I must have gone on about it for 3-4 nights in the show, and everyone said just be quiet and let it go and move on.
Let it go.
But I agree with you. I think it was a crazy decision. I think it was a political decision. John Delaney was trying to satisfy both camps, those who wanted Mick and the increasing unhappiness amongst the League of Ireland people, and I think he was trying to satisfy everyone and came up with this ridiculous setup, to be honest. But anyway.
But all he had to do was appoint Mick as manager, appoint Stephen as under-21 manager, and say nothing.
Yeah.
And everybody would have said, if Mick didn't do well in this campaign, for example, and Stephen does well in the 21s, he'd be a natural successor anyway.
Well, not to revisit old history, but I suspect strongly, and you can read between the lines there, that he tried to do that, and Stephen Kenny understood the leverage he had and understood the position that John Delaney was in. Like Brian Kerr has been on the airways that very week saying the whole thing is a shambles, the board needs to go. I think Stephen Kenny knew he had the leverage to say to Mick, or say to John Delaney, if you want me to follow Mick, I want it in writing. And John Delaney went with it. That is my sense. I don't have that for definite, but I think that's why we're in this rather bizarre situation.
We are.
However, but I think that is Mick McCarthy's attitude to this situation. I'm in a sprint. These are 8 games. We can worry about the future when the future comes. That's for Stephen Kenny. So that is his attitude, I feel, to this whole enterprise, and that's fair enough.
Yeah. It's a short, sharp shock. He's if the 8 games go well, then let's see what happens. If they don't go well, I think Mick knows, well, we might get another chance in the playoffs. We almost certainly will in March. And if we don't qualify through that, then Mick will walk away, and there'll be no issue with that. I made the point to him as well yesterday that when we qualified for the World Cup in 2002, we did so on the basis of good results away from home early on in the campaign against Holland and against Portugal.
That's right, yeah.
And I said, we made a statement. And I said, did you feel you made a statement on Friday? And he goes, well, you make statements, Quinner, I'm not making them. But I think that result has shaken the group up a little bit. I think it's given the Swiss a bit of a boost, because they would expect the Danes to win. It's given us a boost, and it's got the Danes maybe asking questions about themselves. I want to put a bit of perspective here, Joe. I know people thought we played a bit better, and we did.
Yeah.
But the Danish team on Friday night had players from Spurs, Chelsea, Borussia Dortmund, Ajax, Feyenoord, Leipzig, top teams in top divisions, and our highest ranked player, Matt Doherty of Wolves, is on the bench. So we don't have terrific players, but I do see a sense of spirit and togetherness that wasn't evident last year, and I think Mick McCarthy cares for his players, not just in a coaching manner, almost in a paternal, familial manner. And I think if you have a guy who cares for you personally and what you're feeling like when you get out of bed in the morning, how are things at home, who really takes an interest in you, you'll go that little bit extra for him. I think he has that.
I agree.
I don't know how far it's going to take us, but it's got us a little bit more than we had under Martin O'Neill.
It's Mick used the phrase mood music over the weekend. It's just changed the mood music. The team were so passive in the end under O'Neill and Keane. The energy had gone out of the thing. It's funny, I bumped into Stephen Ward in the elevator up here. He's on Sky Sports this evening.
How's his WhatsApp?
Less busy, I would think. I'd say he's a less entertaining WhatsApp friend these days. But I said to him, what do you think of it, how's it all going? And to echo what you said, he just said, it's Mick, The lads love him. He loves the lads. It's just a happy camp.
Yeah.
And that goes an awful long way when you're an Irish team.
It does, yeah. And I'm a bit disappointed by the way Stephen Ward has retired, because I thought he had a lot more to give. And because he had played under Mick as well, I think Mick could have got a bit more out of him.
Yeah.
But that's by the by. Yeah, Mick has always. It's funny because you look at Mick and you meet him, and he, he's a Barnsley lad, and he was an old-fashioned centre half who would have headed a lawnmower coming out of the sky, and he would have kicked lumps out of people, and I think he committed more fouls in 1990 World Cup than anybody else. And he told me that he used the armband to get the first kick in, because as captain he'd always get one freebie.
Yeah.
And yet here he's always favoured a passing game, and he did in that 6-year period from 96 to 02.
Yeah, they played very good football at times. It was a good. I thought it was a good brand, a good hybrid. It took the traditional qualities that Irish players often have, and it also had some decent passages of play. I thought it was a good mix.
Yeah, and that's what he's trying to get here now. We still have certain areas, Joel, that we're lacking. And it'll be interesting to see now. He's given Scott Hogan a chance, and that's probably a bit of a setback for Shawnee Maguire, who started in Gibraltar and then got dropped against Georgia and didn't figure as a sub the other night. He's not starting tonight.
That was a tough evening to judge Maguire and Matt Doherty on, wasn't it? Like an AstroTurf pitch, the wind howling. It was a tough. And Mick said straight away, well, that's the end of the Doherty right on side experiment.
I didn't agree with that, Joe. I didn't. Why would he say that? Because you're talking about the best player, one of the best players we have, and you're saying, okay, it didn't work that night. You're right. The pitch was plastic and the planes taken off and all over.
Yes.
Okay, it may not have worked, but you can't say to Matt Doherty, well, I'm not going to pick you again. I would try it again. He could have even tried Doherty as right side of midfield tonight, or even given Coleman a rest.
I thought tonight was the night he would give them another shot together, Coleman and Doherty. I thought tonight was the perfect night to do it. But he really had made up his mind on the basis of that. But I don't think McLean and Stevens on the other side were much better. It was a tough afternoon.
No, they weren't. But I think the issue there is that he hasn't got a second left back to challenge Stevens with Ward gone, whereas he's got Coleman and Ward. Coleman and Doherty are challenging each other. Yeah. I wouldn't have said what he said about Doherty. I think he may revise that a little bit. Because Doherty is too good to be put in cold storage for this group. We're going to need him.
Before we let you go, and you'll be writing about it in the Mail tomorrow, of course, what are you expecting this evening? Is 2-3, 4-0 somewhere in that range acceptable?
I think when we were here last time, Joe, when we played them, Robbie Keane got a couple of early goals. We put them away pretty quickly. We need an early goal tonight. We're not a team that ever scores 6 or 7, but we should be able to get 3 or 4. But an early goal will settle with any nerves that are here tonight.
Okay, listen, thanks as always, pleasure. We'll take a short break. Stewie Byrne next.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
At Energia, we power thousands of Irish homes, which means we're the power behind thousands of Hoovers and the power behind your rescue.
Almost. I gotcha. Look, Adam, I found your toy soldier under the sofa.
Switch to Energia and Ireland's cheapest dual fuel bundle and save up to €647. Energia, the power behind your power. EAB €1,470 based on average annual usage. 12-month contract, discounted unit rate, standing charge, PSO levy and carbon tax, T's and C's and early termination fee apply. Valid from May 2019 and subject to change. Verification and T's and C's at energia.ie/EAB.
It's wedding season, and whether you're a groom or a guest, you're guaranteed to get that perfect fit if you visit the multi-award-winning menswear store, Galvin Tullamore. Home to a selection of the world's finest brands, superior wedding suit hire, and an in-store tailoring service. Galvin Tullamore, where great style meets great service.
When you're buying groceries, you think about the number of calories, you think about the ingredients, you think about the best before date. But do you ever think about where it was grown? Who picked it? Who packed it? Does your money go into the pockets of local people? It's not always possible, but whenever you can, buy local and support our proud Irish farmers, growers and producers who really do create wonderful products right here. Our local businesses, suppliers and workers are the backbone of Ireland's economy, and they're here for you. Your money goes further when you buy local. Visit buylocalnow.ie to find out more.
The Ultimate Food Lovers Festival is back. Taste of Dublin returns to the Ivy Gardens this week from June 13th to 16th, celebrating the revolution of modern Irish food with over 20 restaurants, 30 top chefs, 160 interactive masterclasses, delectable drinks and live entertainment. Taste of Dublin, inspired by Neff, on this weekend. Book now. Tickets at tasteofdublin.ie. Booking fees apply.
Proudly supported by News Talk.
Join Off the Ball in Abu Dhabi this November 17th to 23rd for the inaugural Off the Ball Open. With flights from Dublin, 5 nights in a 4-star hotel, golf on 2 championship courses, gala awards dinner, Peter Lorre golf clinic and a live Off the Ball roadshow. So where else would you get it? The inaugural Off the Ball Open. Book now at CassidyTravel.ie and check out offtheball.com.
A message from Mini Ireland. If you've taken a Mini 48-hour test drive recently, you may be experiencing post-test drive disorder. Symptoms tend to appear after your Mini 48-hour test drive and can range from a complete lack of interest in your current car to constant reminiscing about your Mini test drive. Post-test drive disorder is in fact treatable, and if symptoms persist, we recommend talking to your local Mini retailer about a whole range of great value solutions. Visit mini.ie to book a test drive today. Terms and conditions apply.
Escape to Kenmare and enjoy the freedom of a stay in Sheen Falls Country Club. With a choice of exceptional self-catering holiday homes, Sheen Falls Country Club is the perfect base for exploring the southwest. Dine in Kenmare's famous restaurants or simply relax in your holiday home hideaway. Sheen Falls Country Club, luxury self-catering in the heart of Kenmare.
Fiona Byrne from 29 Woodstock Green Nace gave us her blessing to say this month she's working nights. Her pedigree pooch, Pebbles, and vintage record collection will be home alone. Pebbles resides in a basket while Bert Bacharach and co live on the sitting room shelf, above the stereo. Night shift? No worries. The Phone Watch sale is now on. Get Phone Watch installed for just €199. Call 1850 500 900 today. Monitoring fees apply. Offer ends this Friday.
When it comes to appliances, I like mine delivered, i.e. they're in my kitchen at the time agreed. The biggest brands at the best prices, like washing machines from only $179.95, American fridge freezers from only $599.95, ovens from only $169.95. Technology, dishwashers, barbecues, you don't even have to leave your home. Just clickety-click and bingo, your appliances delivered. AppliancesDelivered.ie. Buy online now.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Take it, they handed you defeat from the shadows, raw and incomplete, something special.
Yeah, it gets better every time. It's a grower. It's an instant classic and a grower at the same time. It's unbelievable.
You're fine, Joe.
The dulcet tones of Stuey Byrne. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for that, Joe, yeah.
Do you want to sing live or will we just kick on?
Maybe, you never know.
If Ireland score 5, you can sing us out live.
If it's 5-0 after an hour and it's and you can be live at the Aviva.
Bruce Springsteen could do it here, that's something like.
Just a touch of housekeeping before we press on. An important touch of housekeeping. Off the Ball has teamed up with the Irish Blood Transfusion Service. We're supporting World Blood Donor Day. Takes place on Friday, June 14th. All with a view to encouraging conversation around blood donation and highlight why it is so important. 1 in 4 of us will need a transfusion in our lifetime, be that you, someone in your family or a friend. All the blood used in Irish hospitals comes from Irish resident donors. The Irish Blood Transfusion Service needs 3,000 units every week just to keep up with demand. At the moment, over 1,000 people receive transfusions each week in Ireland. So you can check your eligibility to donate by going to giveblood.ie, and you can check out the hashtag #EveryoneCounts as well, all ahead of World Blood Donor Day this Friday, June 14th. It's a brilliant civic duty if you can find the time and the means to do it. We're about to get underway. It's Ireland against Gibraltar. Your commentary team, Nathan Murphy and Stuey Byrne, are in situ. I think, Nathan, we're heading for anthems.
We are, and the Gibraltar anthem is about to start. God Save the Queen.
That's not God Save the Queen.
Maybe they changed things around. What's going on there? Melody to that anthem for Gibraltar.
It's going on there, I wonder, wasn't it? Their Ireland's Call or something, their version.
Not as good as your song, Stewie, I thought.
Greeted by an Aviva Stadium that is slowly but surely starting to fill up for this Euro 2020 qualifier. Well, the Republic of Ireland did the hard job on Friday night, getting a well-earned point in Copenhagen against Denmark. They will fully expect to end these opening 4 games with 10 points against the minnows in the group, Gibraltar, this evening. The 4th time the two sides have met. On the 3 previous occasions, the Republic of Ireland have won 7-0, 4-0 and 1-0, 7-0 the last time. And their only other meeting here in Dublin when Robbie Keane scored a hat-trick inside 20 minutes. 2 changes for the Republic of Ireland side. If you're just joining us, out go Glenn Whelan and Robbie Brady. Into the side come Callum Robinson and Scott Hogan. So the message is clear for Mick McCarthy. This is an Ireland team set up to attack and set up to score goals. The team then in full as they line up for their photograph is Darren Randolph in goals. A back 4, the captain Seamus Coleman, Shane Duffy, Richard Keogh and Enda Stevens. We're told it's going to be a 4-4-2 with Callum Robinson on the right. James McLean keeps his place on the left with Jeff Hendrick alongside Conor Howerhan in the middle, and then David McGoldrick and Scott Hogan will lead the line. For Gibraltar, well, Kyle Godwin's in goal. It's going to be a back 5, you'd imagine, for them, with John Sargent, who plays in the 9th tier of English football, at right back. Jace Oliveros at left back, and the 3 centre halves are Joe Cipollina, his cousin Roy Cipollina, and Louis Annesley, who plays his club football with Blackburn's Academy. In midfield it'll be Andrew Hernandez, Ty DeBar and Alain Pons, and then 2 veterans up front, Liam Walker and Lee Casciaro. Lee Casciaro was the man who scored the goal for the Red Imps when they beat Celtic in Brendan Rodgers' first game in charge back in 2016. This a team very much made up of amateurs, and a team that you would expect, Stewie, that Ireland should steamroll tonight.
Yeah, you would expect it, all right. Yeah, I mean, look, basically what you're looking for, Nathan, is a step on from the other night. I was personally, I was quite happy with how we played tonight, especially in parts of the game. First half, there was spells in the game where we created opportunity. We looked to play. Enda Stevens is somebody who's really sort of developing in that role. I thought he showed spells in the game of lovely feet, which I know from playing against he has. He's got these great feet for a left full. I always felt he was good enough even to play in midfield. When you take the second half into consideration, we rode our luck a little bit, but the big thing from the game the other night was that when we went 1-0 down, we responded, and we got ourselves back into the game by hook or by crook. Set pieces is obviously a huge thing for us. We've got the likes of Hurrihan now, who's got a sweet left foot, and when you've got someone like Duffy who you can just put it into an area for, I mean, it's a serious weapon. So I think that's a key thing for us tonight. Set pieces, I would expect us to get a couple of goals from, but when you look at who are playing up top, Scott Hogan and Callum Robinson, I think they'll inject a little bit of pace and youth, and I think you'll see those guys try things.
So we are underway on a beautiful evening in Dublin. It's a little bit chilly, but there's barely a cloud in the sky. The Republic of Ireland playing from right to left as we look at it, the Lansdowne Road side down to behind Darren Randolph. That's where the hardcore Irish supporters are. A very different atmosphere from the game against Georgia, as Ireland straight away go in front and win that corner kick. I don't think we're going to have any protests against the FAI this evening. No tennis balls on the pitch, but a perfect start for Ireland inside the opening 30 seconds. They attack down the left hand side, and a chance for Conor Howerhan to show that he's very much the new set piece specialist for the Republic of Ireland. Of course, scored the only goal in that victory over Georgia. Duffy is forward, as you would expect. It's low to the near post though. A little flick on attempted there by Jeff Hendrick. Didn't come off. It was cleared out of play though for another corner kick, and Howerhan will get another opportunity. Was that what he was attempting?
Commentator's course. That's one of the poorest balls I've ever seen him give.
And this time it goes in, the keeper comes out, doesn't claim it, deflects off. Duffy comes out again to this left hand side to Howard and sends it back in first time, and a chance for Duffy, but he heads just over the top. The Irish players are appealing for a corner kick. The referee though is going to go for the goal kick for Gibraltar. Tonight's referee, all Romanian officials, Radu Petrescu, who's been in charge of a couple of Irish clubs, Dundalk and Cork City, in Champions League games, and when looking at that, it was a definite corner kick. Shane Duffy almost came off his shoulder there. It was a good opportunity for Duffy. He's holding his head in his hands.
I tell you, the keeper's made a right hames of that one as well, Nathan. He could have caught it. I mean, it's come to him at shoulder height, and he just punched it. Looks very, very nervous. Comes back to Hourihan, and once he puts it into that area, we spoke about it a couple of minutes ago, Duffy has such a presence. He just needs to, muscle somebody out of the way and get his head on it.
Well, the goalkeeper has had a bit of a nightmare in these opening stages. Kyle Goldwyn, who's winning his 10th cap. He's kicked the ball straight out of play from the goal kick, just down in front of our commentary position here in the Irish left. And then Stevens takes the throw in quickly. And now it is with that man, Shane Duffy, the hero in Copenhagen. Was just his 3rd international goal. Feels like he scored a hell of a lot more. Now Coleman, the captain, on the right hand side, trying to play it into the centre. A lovely little flick on first time there from Hogan to McGoldrick, who then smashes the shot high, right and wide. Lovely link-up play straight away though from the two central forwards from Ireland. It was Coleman playing it in there to the feet of Hogan, who first time helped it on into the path of McGoldrick, and was a rash enough shot in the end.
Yeah, that's what you get when you get two up front, don't you? Coleman's good ball into an area. I think Hogan's done very well. He's come in from behind the defender just to nick it around the corner, and what you have is two players on the same wavelength. McGoldrick takes it in a stride. It's a poor finish from what he's trying to do there. He should be looking to go across the box nice and low, work the keeper, because we've seen the keeper looks a little bit nervy.
And here he goes again, this time out the left hand side. This time the goalkeeper does manage to keep it in play, but the ball won in the air by Duffy and sent back from Hourihan to his goalkeeper, Darren Randolph, who's winning his 38th cap for the Republic of Ireland this evening. Has played every competitive game since he replaced Shea Given on that famous night against Germany. And again, outstanding against Denmark. A string of fine saves as the Republic of Ireland just played around at the back. Hourihan in the deepest midfield role, gives it to Richard Keogh, and now Enda Stevens brings it over the halfway line, rolls it along the line. Hogan comes out to the left hand side, but he just drifted into an offside position, and the assistant referee over on the far side raises his flag. Good crowd have come in just in and around the kick-off. I'd say we're up to about maybe heading towards 30,000 perhaps.
I'd say it could even be a little bit more. Yeah, it's a nice healthy crowd. An interesting offside there. I mean, he's played for it. I think he's gotten a shout from his other centre half. Hogan's ran in behind, and he's just told his defender to step up. He shows a little bit of confidence, a little bit of organisation. I know this Uruguayan manager has certainly come in, and he's got this team, fighting for each other, playing for each other as a team.
That's the voice of Stuey Byrne, or Stuart as he's now known. That's your stage name, is it? Where can people get the music quickly? Stuart on Spotify.
All the platforms.
All the platforms. All right.
Spotify, yeah.
But if the game gets really dull in the second half, you're going to give us a live rendition, we hear, so we look forward to that. Ireland try to put some pressure on Gibraltar in midfield, and they win the ball back. Hendrick, though, straight away turned to the referee, knew he was just a little bit over physical, gives away the free kick because there was a chance there for Ireland to break, but it is going to be a free kick to Gibraltar right on the halfway line, and a chance for them to launch what I'm sure will be one of a rare enough attack.
They've killed it immediately. Look how long he's taken over this free kick, so you have to expect that that's what they're going to do if you give away stupid free kicks.
They've never actually won a point in a qualification game, Gibraltar. Did get a couple of wins during the Nations League though. They were of course in League D, but managed to beat Armenia and Liechtenstein. And certainly a sense that under their manager Julio Ribas that they're becoming a little bit more solid, a bit more difficult to break down. We're beaten 3-0 by Georgia on Friday night. Throw in up the line from Stevens, just goes over the head of McLean, and then McGoldrick puts some pressure on, manages to win the ball back, and then lays it off for Stevens. Stevens looks in front, looks behind, and then rolls a short pass to McGoldrick, who's dropped deep. Hogan is down the centre, Robinson's over on the right, and so too is Seamus Coleman, and that's who Hourihan gives the ball to. Coleman just looking for options as well. This time it's Robinson who drops deep, and he's forced to go back into his own half. They'll try and keep their structure as much as possible. Gibraltar get 10-11 men back behind the ball, and that's what they're doing at the moment. Hourihan trying to play it down long along the line for Enda Stevens, but there was too much on that, and Gibraltar will be quite happy with that passage of play, just forcing Hourihan into making a mistake, taking a necessary risk, and straight away you see Hourihan maybe just well, passing the buck on a little bit, saying there wasn't enough movement in front of him and he didn't have any other options, did he?
Yeah, it's a poor ball. In fairness, probably Gibraltar will be quite happy with the first 5 minutes. I think it's really important, Nathan, that we work these and really work them hard. We move the ball, get them moving as much as we possibly can. They're a part-time team. Without being disrespectful, as a few of them are carrying a bit of timber as well. So you've got to work sides like that. You really do. That's the simple facts of it. I'm sure they would have spoken about that, and they'll tire 50-60 minutes, but whenever they get a free kick or throw in, they're going to kill it and they're going to try and frustrate it.
It's almost more like a 4-3-3 that the Republic of Ireland are playing, with Callum Robinson right up top as well. Shane Duffy brings the ball over the halfway line at the outside of his right boot, lays it off for Coleman. Coleman then helps it on for Robinson. Robinson with the little back heel, can't force it through to Seamus Coleman though, and Georgia win the ball back. And Andrew Hernandez in midfield knocks it back, and then the left back fires it forward. Duffy just been under a bit of pressure by Casciaro, who is one of Gibraltar's 3 all-time leading scorers in international football. All 3 of them on the pitch tonight. 2 goals apiece.
2 goals apiece, yeah. Not a bad return. More than I got, enemy.
Well, this is only their 41st ever international. Liam Walker actually, who's played in 39 of them. He was probably the star player in that game in Gibraltar, which I know most people have written off, but there were passages in the second half when Gibraltar played some decent football, and Walker, who's had spells in England with Notts County and Portsmouth, was pivotal to that. He's just playing in behind Casciaro, but Ireland having plenty of the ball without doing a huge amount with it. There's no great pace at the moment from the Irish play. Maybe Hendrick can change that as he drifts out to the right hand side. Coleman now in an advanced position, first time pulls it back to McGoldrick, who's popping up everywhere at the moment, lays it off to Hendrick with the cross through the air, headed clear though by the centre half Annesley, and McLean can't get there, and Gibraltar are going to have a chance to clear again. 7 minutes gone, Ireland 0, Gibraltar 0, and Gibraltar managed to earn the throw in down this right hand side. It was Hernandez who managed to play the ball off Enda Stevens, and again you see Gibraltar slowing it right down. You're listening to Off the Ball, and in fact they are going to slow it down even more, because Casciaro just drops onto the ground. It looks as though he's got a little bit of a problem. James McLean goes over to see if he's alright. The physios are coming on, and well, after a slowish and sluggish start, 8 minutes gone, Ireland 0, Gibraltar 0. You're listening to Off the Ball on News Talk. If you want to get in touch, if you're listening around the world, as always, to these international games, you can text us 53106 at Off the Ball on Twitter. We're live on offtheball.com/radio as well.
He's gone, right?
And that is the end of that, and that is a big blow, there's no question about that, and he looks absolutely sickened. Lee Casciaro, the 37-year-old, their veteran striker, and as I said, probably scored the most famous goal in Gibraltar football history against Celtic, but his day is done after just 8 minutes. Looked fairly innocuous as well.
Yeah, it looked to me like he should never have started the game, Nathan, to be quite honest. He probably came in with a knock, got asked before the game, are you fit? To, being the experienced player, you probably said, yeah, Gaffer, I want to play in this one, but I think he's made a mistake there. Well, hopefully it plays into our hands.
Yeah, they're about to make a change. At the moment, though, they're down to 10 men. The game's back underway. Robinson out on that right-hand side. Been tracked there by Olivero. Seamus Coleman has the ball now, midway inside the Gibraltar half. Hendrick's out there as well. They're forced to go back to Shane Duffy. The 10 Gibraltar players who are on the pitch are all behind the ball at the moment. McLean hasn't really been involved so far. Plays a quick 1-2 with Howerhan, turns the ball back inside, and now 35 yards out, Shane Duffy smashes the shot 35 yards over the top of the crossbar. Well, I know he's got a bit of confidence and everybody's been talking him up for the last few days, but I think that was a rush of blood to the head for Shane Duffy. There were better options, and again maybe signs just a lack of creativity for Ireland there.
Where's your head at when your centre half is trying stuff like that? Stick to what you're good at doing. I don't think Mick McCarthy would be too happy for that. He was all of 40 yards out there. A little bit worrying, I think they're parking the bus, and you've got to expect that. We've got Coleman wide, we've got Enda Stevens wide. On a couple of occasions, Coleman's received it wide. I would have liked to have seen him to put the ball in direct. Just start trying to get deliveries in behind this Gibraltar defence. Don't give them the opportunity to get set. But on an occasion where we could have done that, we're dropping balls back to Hendrick, and we're just being a little bit less direct than we could at this moment in time. Another good example of time wasting there. You see 2 balls coming on the pitch, and this is all playing into the mentality.
Gibraltar have made that change, so Lee Casciaro's off. He's replaced by his Red Imps teammate Anthony Barden. So an early blow for Gibraltar. Now a chance straight away, and a rare opportunity for Gibraltar to get forward, and they get the shot off as well. It was Ty de Bar who put the head down, ran 10 or 15 yards past Howard, took the left-footed shot. It was off target. It went to the right and wide, but again, this is all a little bit frustrating from Ireland's point of view.
Yeah, probably more. He's picked it up about 50 yards out in space in that little number 10 role. He's got a chance to turn, and he's run at the back four, who's actually, they backed off him, Nathan, and it looks like Hourihan and Richard Keogh have had words, because Conor Hourihan is saying, listen, come and engage him. There's no one else there. We've got 4 people at the back marking nobody, got somebody running at them, who's got a shot away, and at this level you would expect that it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, DeBar's now leading the line for Gibraltar. Robinson again getting involved, lays it off to Coleman. Coleman wants Robinson to come short. He's forced to go inside to Hendrick, and Hendrick again turns back to Duffy. And that's one of the things I think a lot of people wanted from Jeff Hendrick, was to maybe take a few more risks.
Yeah, try a slide route ball. They've got Coleman who's hugging that right hand. He couldn't be any far forward. He's looking to get in behind the fullback all the time. Take a chance. It just gets that fullback thinking.
I said in the 7-0, the only other time Gibraltar came to Dublin, Robbie Keane had scored a hat-trick inside 20 minutes, and listen, it's clear as day there's no Robbie Keane out there anymore, but you still like to see that desire to kill them off early on, because the longer it goes on, there is only 12 minutes gone, the more people get frustrated and a little bit nervous. Ireland still in possession of the ball, not really going anywhere at the moment. Robinson finds himself isolated out in the right wing, and the ball's turned out of play for a throw-in by Gibraltar.
I think when we would have had the team talk, Nathan, it would have been mentioned, look, they're going to try and frustrate you, just keep the ball, move the ball. It will come, it will eventually come, but it will only come if you are doing those things, if you're moving them, trying things, moving the ball quickly all the time. Probably getting a little bit into that mode now at the moment, but it has to be relentless, and you have to keep it up.
Hogan's just stepped back this time, I think, just to try and get himself involved in the game again. How exactly are Ireland setting up then? Is it a straight 4-4-2?
I think that's the way it is. It looks like McLean and Callum Robinson have gone very, very high.
It's almost like a 4-2-4.
Yeah, probably trying to get Coleman a little bit more on the ball. Then you've got players dropping in. I think we're possibly a bit too far forward.
Yeah, Scott Hogan, 25 yards out, left-footed shot. He was off balances, and he slices it to the left and well wide. But that's the second time it's been Ireland's best passage of play, which is Coleman on the right-hand side, playing a ball in centrally to the feet of Hogan, who just dropped deep. And again, a nice first touch this time, though, lacking the finish from Hogan.
Oh, what I like on that occasion, Hogan is he's been very clever. He's starting from behind the defender and he's dropping in. Very, very difficult to mark. On that occasion, he gets turned. Only had one thing in his mind, that was to get the shot away. A little bit sloppy, I have to say. I think he'd be capable of putting something better than that. But yeah, that Coleman-Hogan partnership seems to be something. I think Coleman likes that, doesn't he? He likes someone to come in from him. Like, fullbacks love just banging in balls into the centre forward when they want it.
Good energy from Hogan in the early stages. Now here's Liam Walker over on the left-hand touchline for Gibraltar. Barden, the substitute, who's playing in the middle of midfield since replacing Cascario. Ireland win the ball back, and Coleman steps away from the initial challenge and bombs forward, and again plays a good ball inside to Hendrick. Hendrick can't find Hogan, though. The ball will deflect back to McLean. Drifting out to this left-hand side, he plays it along the ground to the feet of Enda Stevens. Back to McLean again. Is that dyed grey hair, or is that just nature taking its course?
That's the peroxide. It's back, isn't it? It's been about 20, 15 years. When did Robbie Williams have his hair dyed? Take that.
Yeah, it's good 20 years ago now.
Yeah. A couple of ball players went for it as well, didn't they? A couple of Liverpool players. Who's it? Rob Jones? No.
The Romanians in 94.
Maybe.
Now Robinson, he just doesn't have the pace to get free down that right-hand side. So it's cleared long by Gibraltar, out of play. Sliced clearance, so it'll be another throw into Ireland. Heading for the quarter of an hour mark then. Still the Republic of Ireland 0, Gibraltar 0. And Jay's listening in Dublin, says, Friday night, what's the big love-in all about? The other night could easily have been a 5-1 defeat. The cross comes in from the right, headed clear by Gibraltar, picked up on the edge of his area by Barden. Takes too much out of it. Robinson goes in, and as he tries to block the ball, he has his arms above his head. It comes off his hand, and it's going to be a free kick to Gibraltar. Jay's point on text was that it could easily have been another embarrassing 5-1 defeat, but for poor finishing by the Danes. Where's the perspective?
I think that's harsh. I think that, to be fair to Denmark, they had a very good 10-15 minute spell in the second half where we rode our luck, certainly rode our luck. But don't forget, we didn't concede from a fantastic slide and tackle from Hourihan when he tracked back. Then I would say the other two opportunities when Keogh and Duffy got a little bit mixed up, we certainly rode our luck there. But you're going to get that, especially when you go away from home and playing against a team like Denmark. I think the key thing is that we responded very well and got a goal back. But there was just things in the game that I thought we'd done really well that we hadn't done for such a long period of time, especially away from home. I thought we tried to play And that was, of course, with an underperforming James McLean, an underperforming Robbie Brady. So you'd like to think that we could only improve.
The Gibraltar attack came to nothing, so Ireland have it back, played in towards Hogan, who has the ball inside the area again, though he's drifted into an offside position. And that's twice now in the opening 16 minutes. Scott Hogan has been caught offside, and again it just stalls any momentum that Ireland can try and build. Denmark have taken the lead against Georgia. Kasper Dahlberg come into the side for tonight's game. The Ajax striker has put Denmark in front in that match. Still scoreless here, and well, not much to report on at all. It's been pretty poor stuff from the Republic of Ireland so far as Gibraltar drilled the ball forward. Keogh wins the header, helped on by the head of Hendrick, and now it's with McLean, who gives it back to Stevens, and just an aimless long ball forward from Enda Stevens, comfortably dealt with by Gibraltar. Good control from Liam Walker, gives it to Hernandez, and well, they can play a bit of ball at times, Gibraltar. No great quality really, I think, in the final third, and you can't imagine them getting too many chances. But in midfield they have a few talented players, and then they just play it long from the back, straight over the head of everybody and straight back to Darren Randolph. Ireland will start from the back again. Is this where you're looking for a midfielder to come and take control of the situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think they're set up well, Gibraltar. I have to say, you've got to give it to them. Like, they've come here, they look structured to me. They played that offside very, very well. I know they've only had to do it twice, but you can see they're stepping up, and they're stepping up with purpose. Two centre halves are talking to each other very well.
Hendrick chips the ball over the top for Coleman, a full stretch. He manages to keep it in, or does he? Well, from up here, we're a long way away. It looked as though he did, but the assistant referee was a whole lot closer and said that the ball had ran over the end line before Coleman looped it back into the penalty area. So it'll be another goal kick to Gibraltar. It's very, very dead around the Aviva Stadium. Is it possible that Ireland put so much thought and effort into Denmark on Friday night that they hyped it up so much for themselves that this is a sort of natural come down?
No, I think the key thing was that coming into this game, it was going to be a difficult 15-20 minutes. Look, if you get an early goal, of course that changes everything, and that certainly would have been the case. But you got to give this team a little bit of respect. We spoke about this. The Uruguayan manager who's coming, Rebus, has come in, and he's put structure on them. Look, he's gotten them playing for each other. And that can go a hell of a long way, but it won't go all the way, So the key, you have to work them. You have to keep moving the ball, get them moving. Fitness is going to be a huge. Oh, there you go.
Oh, Shane Duffy's just switched off completely there. Simple ball back to him from McLean. Nobody near him. Nobody in a Gibraltar jersey within 20 yards of him, and he passed it straight behind Seamus Coleman and straight out of play. And that just sort of sums up the opening 18 and a half minutes. A little bit sloppy from Ireland, and it's Gibraltar. You would presume Ireland go on and win this game. If they don't, it's an absolute crisis. But again, already in the first 20 minutes, can you read a lot into this, that we simply do not have midfielders who can even run a game against Gibraltar?
I think that's part of the reason. Yeah, we've no Wes Houlihan. Wouldn't he be great to have in this situation? But you've got no right to go and thump somebody. You have to earn that right. It's as simple as that, regardless of who you're playing against. I noticed Mick McCarthy was quite quiet for the first 10 minutes. He sat down. He's been up on his feet now for about 7-8 minutes. Obviously senses a little bit of frustration. I think what's happening, Nathan, is that too many players are trying to get involved, and they're sort of going into areas where they're not really getting the ball, and they're moving around, dropping deep, and it's something. It's a way of playing we're not too used to playing, and we've never been fantastically great at being the overwhelming favourites going into any game. So maybe that's something that psychologically we just need to deal with and cope with in these first 20 minutes.
Gibraltar were 50-1 for today's game, and they've managed to hold out for the opening 20 minutes. Here's Ainsley, and he just can't find the bar. Goes past him, straight to the feet of Duffy. Now Howerhan takes the ball off Duffy, still inside his own half, rolls it to Coleman, who's more or less on the halfway line. Again, Robinson makes the run in front. Coleman decides to go back, and Howerhan spots Enda Stevens, as you did as well, Stewie, in space on this left hand side. Brilliant crossfield ball, but it was well read back there by Sargent, who closed down quickly.
That's the ball, Nathan. He's got it in the locker, Huron, can't he? No problem playing 70-80 yard balls when he does it quickly like that.
And here's James McLean inside to McGoldrick. First time ball to Hendrick. This is better from Ireland. Chance now for Scott Hogan. The angle's tight, and it's saved straight down in front of him by the goalkeeper for Gibraltar, Goldwyn, but the offside flag was up again against Scott Hogan.
Yeah, it went up early, but I have to say a lovely little interchange between McLean, McGoldrick, getting to Hendrick. A little slip past. Is he offside? I'm not sure. I think he's on his shoulder. but better from Ireland. It's more direct, it's quick, it's one-touch football. Hogan is doing very well to play that line. Now, Gaffer might have a bit of a word on my half-time saying, look, that's the third time you've been caught offside, so just, he's got the pace, look, so to give yourself that yard, be sure.
Still scoreless then. 21 minutes gone here at the Aviva Stadium. You're listening to Off the Ball on News Talk. Nathan Murphy and Stewie Byrne with you this evening. Joel will be here for the half-time and full-time analysis. All the reaction as well on OTB AM tomorrow morning. Our sports breakfast show, it's live from 7:30. You can get it on Facebook, Twitter, offtheball.com. Now, Enda Stevens, who's very much made that left-back spot his own, you'd feel, at this stage. Winning his 10th cap tonight and set to play Premier League football next season with Sheffield United. Robertson and the end line pulls it back towards Coleman, cut out by the Gibraltar defender though, and deflected it off. Seamus Coleman got a second bite of the cherry and smashes it forward. Now Duffy getting involved there in a little bit of a battle with the bar, and Duffy, well, there's not too many strikers in world football I think that will beat him in a physical battle. Gets the ball back to Darren Randolph.
Got to deliver it there, Robinson, doesn't he? He's got to just hang that up in the box. We've got 3 players in the box. He gets himself to the byline, and instead of just putting it in, hanging it up at back post, he pulled it back to Coleman. Defender's done well to nick it.
Robinson gets it in early this time towards Hogan, and it just flashes off his forehead into the left and wide. That looked like a big opportunity for the Aston Villa striker. Great ball in from the right hand side by Robinson.
He's mistimed this, Nathan. Robinson does really well, hangs up the fullback, gets it back onto his left foot, pulls it in. I think he's mistimed that completely. I think he's expecting the defender to get some sort of a nick on it in the front post. Oh, he's just mistimed it. It's a great chance.
And it's a huge opportunity for Scott Hogan. Maybe a bit of rustiness. Hasn't played much football at all this season. Only started 4 games in the Championship for Aston Villa. He's had quite a few injury problems as well, but getting a start tonight, and he's put himself about a bit. But that was a big chance, and a lovely weighted cross in from that right hand side from Callum Robinson. And certainly got themselves involved, the front 3 so far.
Nice to see him check back onto his left foot as well, just sort of holding the defender up. He's drawing players in as soon as they come in. Little check onto the left foot and deliver it.
And a crossfield ball from Gibraltar comes to nothing, goes straight over the head of Hernandez. So throw in 2. Ireland will be taken by Enda Stevens.
This is a problem as well, and when Enda Stevens has got that there, he needs 2 midfielders switching all the time. I mean, Hendrick has dropped in, and he's just stood still. He's not getting it. Get out, let Hourahan come in, get moving.
Is that something that you should be working on the training ground?
I think players of this quality should be naturally used to that. That's something that you just do naturally.
Now, better ball down the right hand side this time, and it is kept in play by Hernandez. Deep inside the Irish half, knocks it back to Walker. Walker been put under pressure by Hendrick, and Hendrick does enough to dispossess the Gibraltar man, and then as McLean comes forward up the left hand side, it's touched out of play by Sargent, and it'll be another throw into Ireland. This time they take it quicker. Stevens goes back to Richard Keogh, and Keogh along his own penalty area for Duffy. That almost feels like an end of season friendly here at the Aviva Stadium. There's been nothing really to bring the Irish supporters to life so far. Callum Robinson loses out, wins it back 25 yards, but just couldn't bring the ball under control, and then coming into it is Howard, and he's fouled there in a really dangerous position. It was Oliveira. He just spotted the opportunity, Conor Howard. Nobody really had full control of the ball just outside the Gibraltar penalty area, and as he took that touch, he went flying to ground. And this is a big opportunity for the man who was fouled. The free kick against Georgia was probably a similar distance out. It was to the left hand side that night in March, this one to the right hand side. And Conor Howard will relish this opportunity now to maybe give the Republic of Ireland the lead. 25 minutes gone, we're still scoreless, but Ireland with a free kick 25 yards out, just to the right of centre. Callum Robinson is there as well, in search of his first international goal, but will it be the man from Bandon, Conor Howard? You'd imagine
just hit the target, Nathan. Keeper hasn't been fantastic at all. I don't think they've asked too many questions of him, but he's looked nervous to me. Don't try and put top corner. Maybe just try and ask questions of him and see where his head is at. But he's got great ability from set pieces, isn't he? Howard, we've seen that now.
Shane Duffy's taken up a spot, as he did for that goal against Georgia, just on the edge of the wall. It is Conor Howard, goes low, and it comes off the foot of Shane Duffy. Howard gets another chance to send it back in, cleared back there though by Ainsley, and out to the right hand side where it's picked up by Coleman. Coleman looked as though that may have gone out of play, keeps going, quick 1-2 there with McGoldrick, but in the return pass, Coleman was offside. Looks and tries to stare down the assistant referee. Well, it worked wonderfully a couple of months ago for Conor Hourihan's free kick when Shane Duffy just used all his weight and length into the Georgian wall and shoved him out of the way and made the space. This time the free kick came off his foot.
It's one to forget. Alright, didn't hit it well at all, did he? He's hardly got off the ground at all. I mean, sometimes some players look to try and slip it under the wall. I don't think he's done that. He's just completely miskicked it. Not like him, and he's made a hames of his first corner kick as well. So, again, like it's little signs that the mentality is not really where it should be. And then even in the follow-up, he had a little bit of an interchange between McGoldrick and Coleman, getting Coleman in behind the fullback, and he's straight offside. And on that occasion, Gibraltar didn't actually play it. So that's probably the fourth or fifth offside we've had.
Ireland with the ball on the halfway line, and James McLean plays a nice little ball down that left-hand side. Hogan can't get it under control first time though, and it's turned out of play. And it'll be a throw into Ireland deep inside the Gibraltar half. And still no goals. And Stevens with a chance to get a cross in, drills it in low and doesn't reach a green jersey though, and it's cleared out of play for another throw in on this near side.
Quality's been poor, Nate. Haven't got one good ball into the box yet. I mean, we're 27 minutes into the game.
Mick McCarthy's returned to his seat, but he can't be overly happy with what he's seen in these opening 27 minutes. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised. 7 of Ireland's last 8 games have been scoreless at half-time. First half goals have been a problem. Setting a tempo has been a problem, particularly here at home. McLean loses out. This time it's Sargent who takes it away from him, and they go long over the top now, and Duffy's going to need to show a bit of pace because it's picked up here by the bar, and they've got players forward here, and if the bar could have picked out the right pass, Pons had made the run through the centre. Well, they ended up almost with a 3-on-3 break there, Gibraltar, out of nothing. They just didn't have the quality to take advantage, and finally the Irish supporters, well, I think out of frustration more than anything else, just try and urge their team on. Well, there's no doubt it's been getting progressively worse. No great sign of the Republic of Ireland scoring, aside from the assumption that you presume they will. All the time in the world now for T.I. DeBar in the middle of midfield to just control the ball, turn around, look at his options.
It's like Del Piero. He's dropping in, he's getting turned. I mean, don't forget, this is the same lad that 15 minutes ago was able to get turned, ran all of 20 yards and got a shot away. He's not even playing one up front. Go and close him down.
Well, not much to get excited about here, but good news elsewhere because Georgia have equalised against Denmark. So Denmark won, Georgia won. Remember, Denmark have drawn their opening 2 games. Coleman with the cross in, McGoldrick with the shot, deflection. Well, it wasn't pretty, but it doesn't matter for David McGoldrick because the Republic of Ireland have finally taken the lead. 28 minutes gone. The low ball in from the right-hand side from the Irish captain, Seamus Coleman. He picked out the onrushing David McGoldrick. Wasn't the cleanest of strikes. Took a deflection. Keeper could do nothing. And finally, something for these Irish supporters to cheer. Half an hour gone at the Aviva Stadium, and Ireland finally make the breakthrough. It's David McGoldrick.
Yeah. Look, it was going about 10 yards wide.
Well, it's not David McGoldrick because that is most definitely going to go down as an own goal.
It's going about 10 yards wide, and it's just completely come off the back of the defender. Goalkeeper's no chance. Look, you'll take that little bit of luck. Sometimes you make your own luck. I mean, again, it's come from Coleman getting himself, down that byline. He's cut it back to McGoldrick. There's loads of Gibraltar bodies in the way. Who's to come off? Very hard to see, but it's
there's no question it's an own goal because it was going a mile wide. Well, it's Joseph Cipollina, the centre half.
He's the prison guard. Don't forget, he was the hero that scored the winner against Liechtenstein, and he was loved by the prison when he went back to work the next day. Hopefully he doesn't get any grief for that one. But it's look, you'll take the bit of luck. It's been sloppy up until now.
Yeah, it needed that bit of luck because, well, it was actually a terrible effort in the end. It was a perfect pass from Coleman back to McGoldrick, and he was putting it about 10 yards to the right and wide, but it took a cruel deflection off Joseph Cipollina, and it is enough to give Ireland a 1-0 lead. And as I say, with Denmark drawing in Georgia, well, it could end up being a very, very good night for Irish football. Now McGoldrick, central position, plays it to Robinson. Robinson, first time shot, hit it low, hit it powerfully, but it just goes a couple of yards to the left and wide.
Yeah, it's like Gibraltar look a bit shook now, probably standing off a little bit than they have been up until now. You've got McGoldrick finding themselves in acres of space, and Robinson all but 18 yards out. Gets torn, no one really coming to closing down and gets a shot away. And again, that gets deflected, that could go anywhere. I thought the right ball was to Coleman from McGoldrick in the first. If Robinson had just stepped over, he made another wonderful running behind the fullback.
Yeah, so David McGoldrick, I'm sure he'll try and claim it, but unfortunately the rules are fairly simple with this. If it's on target and it takes a deflection, you get the goal. If it's going wide and well wide, well, I think he'd need a real hometown decision for that to be his first international goal. But it does ease the pressure in Ireland, and maybe now they can break free. Howerhan gets the ball from Robinson, was just a bit slow in possession there, and then Enda Stevens comes across to help out, and then Richard Keogh, under a bit of pressure from DeBar, is forced to turn back and play the ball to Darren Randolph. So 31 and a half minutes gone, and Ireland lead Gibraltar by 1-0. It has not been a classic.
Keogh was over quick there, wasn't he? I think he might have gotten a little bit of a scare from the previous incident when Pons had found himself in acres of space. If only DeBar had gotten his head up when they had broken away that time. So they're the warning signs, we probably switched off a little bit there. Coleman's getting themselves dragged up so high up the pitch that, when a sloppy pass breaks down, they can break. I don't think we've dealt with DeBar quite well, to be quite honest, the two boys. Getting too much time for me.
Enda Stevens brings the ball into the area, gets the cross in, deflects off the first defender though, and again Gibraltar will clear, and Liam Walker has it midway inside his own half, plays a nice drilled low volleyed pass to DeBart on this right hand side, kills across quickly again and turns it out of play for a throw in. Well, Ireland almost seemed lost tactically because of the changes they've made since Friday night, that with Hendrick and Howerhan in that central midfield role, neither of them really wants to be the defensive midfielder, the one who actually tracks the player who goes between the midfield and the defence.
I take that point. Yeah, something I sort of took a mental note of that after about 10 minutes. When you've got Wheel in there, you're set in stone. He's going to do that job for you, so you can be a little bit more adventurous, get yourself a little bit higher up the pitch. But the two of them have probably struggled a little bit. Yeah, who does what? I'd say McCarthy probably had a word with both of them. Say, look, just mix it up.
Now Coleman's in space on the right hand side. What sort of delivery can he find? A couple of little step overs, brings the ball into the area. Still Seamus Coleman drills it in low. There's a little flick on by Callum Robinson. It may have come off a Gibraltar player again, and it goes agonisingly behind for a corner kick. Went all the way across the goal and just missed that left hand post. But again, great attacking play over on the right hand side from Coleman.
It's a wonderful feat. What a 4 or 5 step overs he's thrown here. I was probably being a little bit critical. I thought he should have delivered it much earlier, and I think Callum Robinson just gets that little back heel flick. It's in behind him, flicks it around the corner.
Well, again, I think Callum Robinson was looking to claim it. It was a Gibraltar defender who had got the final touch, but the end result is a corner kick to Ireland in the sunshine in Dublin, and it'll be Conor Howerhan to take it. Howerhan, left footed, sent in there. McGoldrick, free header, doesn't get the connection again. The ball doesn't go out of play though, kept alive by Hogan. Back to Robinson, sends it in first time. Wasn't a good delivery though by Callum Robinson. Gibraltar clear, and it's picked up on the halfway line by Everton's Seamus Coleman. Forward along the line to Robinson, who was free. Coleman getting forward to help him out, lays it back to Seamus Coleman. 2 Gibraltar defenders over there. There's 5 Irish players inside the area waiting for the ball. Doesn't come from either Coleman or Robinson. They're just trying to play intricate passes. I think Coleman was telling him to maybe move a little bit further forward and get out of the way. Gibraltar clear it out for a throw in, almost over by the corner flag, on the far side of the pitch to Ireland, who lead 1-0 with 10 minutes to go until half time. And Coleman throws the ball to Robinson. Robinson sends it back over the head of the Gibraltar defenders. Coleman hadn't anticipated it, and it goes harmlessly out of play for another goal kick to Gibraltar.
Brilliant sign there, Nathan. I'd say we've got 7 or 8 players in the box. Coleman's got the ball wide. He's marked. He hasn't got the opportunity to get a delivery, and he's looking for a midfielder to come deep and come play with him. They've all gone ahead into the box like, yeah, I want to get me goal here. I think someone's had a word with Howerhan saying, listen, one of you has to sit out. You can't both just head into the box and expect to get on the end of something.
It has not been very good, but Ireland are in front. An own goal by Joseph Cipollina, and Denmark have retaken the lead against Georgia. Christian Eriksen with a penalty kick in that game. So Denmark leading 2-1 there. McLean on the left-hand side goes back to Hourihan, right in the middle of the Georgian half of the pitch, drills a low left-footed pass to the feet of Coleman inside to Hendrick. Hendrick trying to find the return pass for Coleman, but there was just too much on that, and it rolls safely along the ground back into the arms of Kyle Goldwyn in the Gibraltar goal.
Yeah, Hourihan zinged a lovely ball out to Seamus Coleman's feet. He's looking to play a little round the corner with Hendrick. On that occasion he should have checked once Coleman's played it in from him. I know he's made the run in behind the defender, but it wasn't on. Hendrick's played it, and it's a poor pass from a player of his ability. He's gone straight to the goalkeeper.
They need a bit more zinging. Every time there's a zinged pass, Ireland suddenly come alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes you've got to take a little bit of a chance as well, like, try a pass that you wouldn't normally do. I know possession is important, and it's an important factor in tonight's game because you want to work them, you want to move them side to side. If it's all in front of them, they're happy out, but you have to question their fitness levels, because it's not now it matters, it's in the 70th minute it matters, and that's when the gaps open up. But if you haven't worked them enough, you haven't tested them, then it won't happen.
Interesting, listening to Kevin Kilban on this morning's OTB AM, he was talking about the lack of service for David McGoldrick on Friday night, and saying if he was a left back, what Robbie Keane would be saying, ping it in low quickly, which is what Coleman has done on 3 or 4 occasions so far. Hasn't quite come off for the Republic of Ireland. And the other thing Kevin was saying was how disappointed he was with the Irish midfield on Friday night, not looking for the ball, and well, it's a bit of a replica of that this evening. Coleman again, he's seen a huge amount of the ball in this first half over on the Irish right hand side. Little 1-2 with Robinson, then quickly into the centre to Hourihan then zings the ball to this left hand side to Stevens, little touch and then forward to McGoldrick. Good football from Ireland. The cross is in towards Hogan, the goalkeeper came out, got a touch, and the referee blows his whistle. Well, the goalkeeper went down, he was brave I guess, because Hogan was flying in to try and get on the end of that cross from McGoldrick, and he caught the Gibraltar goalkeeper Goldwyn, who went straight to ground. I suspect he's alright, and maybe he realised that he needed to get the free kick, and it's an Irish player picked up the rebound, but that was better. And again, it was Conor Hourihan crossing the ball,
it's that direct 60-70 yard diagonal ball that gets the Gibraltar defence shifting across. The space is created. McGoldrick finds themselves in behind the defender, drills one in low, and he's asked questions to the keeper there, who didn't deal with it very well. And Hogan is trying to get on the end of it. Looks like the keeper's taking one on the face.
Yeah, Kyle Goldwyn got a bit of a bang there, there's no question about that, and he's just stayed down. He's going to need a little bit of treatment, and we've had a couple of breaks during this first half. The Irish players come across towards the technical area and grab a drink of water, and what's, I'd imagine, a fairly warm evening, particularly in the parts of the pitch where the sun is still shining. I've been told before kick-off that the pitch is being ripped up first thing tomorrow morning. Not just the covering, the entire surface been dug up over the summer in preparation for Euro 2020 and those games which take place next year.
Great nick, I have to say. The pitch is lovely, really top condition. It's incredible how they do that these days, and that seems to be a regular thing now every season. Most of the top clubs will do it.
Science.
And I hear it's the Sligo company's doing it as well. They're keeping it in Ireland. I forget the name of them. They've done a lot of work for the World Cup over in Russia.
Well, we still have a break in play. You wouldn't be able to tell from the atmosphere whether the game was ongoing or whether there was actually stopped, because the Irish supporters, I'll tell you, with no John Delaney to give out about, they've nothing to do.
The bar.
Can't even have a drink here, which was something that was actually very noticeable in Copenhagen on Friday night. So every Denmark fan was pretty drunk. They were coming in 6 pints to a man into the ground, actually to their seat. You could also buy a bottle of vodka, a bottle of gin, and bring it to your seat.
Well, you can't have a drink here.
Unless you're in the premium level at the Aviva Stadium, you're not allowed to bring your drink to your seat. So you can buy a drink out behind us, but you have to have it out there. You're not allowed. We can't be trusted to have a drink inside the stadium. The Gibraltar goalkeeper's still down. Might have a bit of an issue with his teeth.
Yeah, he's taking one in the face, right in the mouth, actually.
So 5 minutes till half time. I suspect we'll have about another 4 or 5 minutes of injury time at the end of the first half. It is Ireland 1, Gibraltar 0. The goal came on 29 minutes. Joseph Cipollina with an own goal after a shot from
to be
David
honest,
McGoldrick.
they're dragging this out big time. I mean, one of the referees and having a word now saying, listen, look, you got to get off the pitch maybe. Look, this? He's having a drink of water and everything.
He's just making sure he's all right.
Speed it up.
You never have any sympathy for goalkeepers.
No, definitely not for goalkeepers.
Sean is wondering which League of Ireland players does Stewie think could bring something positive to this Ireland team?
I think he's got obviously Houben playing at Dundalk. Jack Bourne has obviously gotten into the squad. I think they're both the two players really at the moment. There's no coincidence they're both playing at the top two clubs. But it's a strange one. I don't know what the situation is with Sean Maguire. I would have thought he'd be ideal for this kind of scenario, especially playing with the likes of McGoldrick. Maybe he feels that he just doesn't give you that physicality. Hogan looks a little bit bigger and more physical than him.
Well, that's a rash challenge there from Shane Duffy again. There was a load of time for Gibraltar to play the ball around in the middle of the pitch and just inside the Irish half, and suddenly they injected a bit of pace, came to life, and the bar was again running at Duffy, and Duffy just went straight through him and gave away the free kick. And this is a chance for Gibraltar. These are the sort of chances they came here for. It's a free kick. It's about 35 yards out, just to the left of centre, and they're for once going to send a few men forward. Ainsley and Cipollina, both Cipolinas, the cousins, have come forward. So it's going to be sent in from Liam Walker. Left foot across deep towards the back post. Hendrick gets his head under it and heads it straight up into the air and behind for a corner kick to Gibraltar.
It's good delivery. Nathan's put it into a good area. Put it into that area, but between the line and the goalkeeper. Randolph's not going to come for that. Hendrick has to deal with it. But just going back to the incident with the bar, I mean, he's the one that's causing some trouble. The fact that he's able to get torn and run at the defenders. I think Duffy on that occasion decided to engage him, but got his feet all wrong and gave away a foul.
So corner kick again by Walker. Good pace on that there, into a really dangerous position. Headed clear back there by Howerhan in the end and helped on, and Ireland will try and break on the counter-attack with McGoldrick. He has Hogan in front of him. Good pace from McGoldrick, gets over the halfway line forward to Hogan. The keeper's come out, Hogan's around him, he's drifting out to the right hand side. The angle is tight, keeps it in play. Gibraltar get men back. He's out towards the corner flag now, needs a little bit of support, wasn't coming quickly, and the ball's put out of play for a throw into Ireland deep inside the Gibraltar half. A smash and play by David McGoldrick.
Yeah, wonderful break, showed a lot of pace, left a lot of them for dead, and Hogan timed his run perfectly as well. Another good example of Hendrick getting it all wrong with Coleman, sloppy. But going back to that incident, once he's played Hogan through, he was 1v1 with the keeper. He always looked like the favourite, didn't he, Hogan? He's got that little bit of pace. The keeper at the last minute decides not to engage him, otherwise he's been sent off with a red card. He just knocked the ball too far ahead of him and couldn't get that ball back into the box.
If the first 43 minutes have told us anything, is it that the Mick McCarthy era is certainly not going to spell a different style of football for Ireland, that we're not going to see us dominating possession no matter what the opposition?
Yeah, I think it's highlighting a certain situation, Nathan, and that is we have to deal with these games better. How we set out, how we
take a few risks.
Take a few risks. I agree, totally agree with you. Yeah, take a few risks. We've seen Hourahan on 2 occasions probably banging a lovely 70-yard ball. He can do that all day. I'd love to see him do that all day. Do it all day.
He has a corner kick here. McLean won it down the left-hand side. Outswinger, one in the air by Richard Keogh. Kept alive. Keeper comes out, doesn't claim it. McGoldrick, there's a bit of a scrap in there around the left-hand post, but eventually Gibraltar just do enough to clear it out of play for another corner kick. This goalkeeper, even before he got the smack in the face, has looked anything but convincing. Howerhan again, another decent delivery. And the first Gibraltar defender missed it, but eventually they get it clear. No Irish player made the run inside this time. Coleman has it inside the centre circle, rolls it out to the right hand side to Robinson. Robinson in onto his left foot, suddenly opens up from Robinson, takes the shot and flashes it just to the left and wide. Just needed a little bit of bend, a little bit of curl with that left foot, and it flies past that left hand post. Good chance though.
Yeah, did it all himself. Spoke a little bit about taking a risk or trying something. That's exactly what Robinson did. He's found himself out wide and right on the corner of the D. Checks inside, and he backs his ability, gets it onto his left foot, and he's tried to curl it into that far post, and he's very, very, very close. It's a great effort. A little bit better. I think we probably need to start trying things like this because we've got so many players in the box. The Gibraltar defence are expecting deliveries to come in. Why not try a few shots from distance?
4 minutes of injury time at the end of this game, end of this half even.
I don't know where he's got that from. I thought it was going to be 6 or 7.
Well, you made it sound like he was down for 6 or 7, but he was only down for about 3 minutes. Ireland 1, Gibraltar 0. Gibraltar again finding a pocket of space inside the Irish half with Liam Walker, lays it off. And James McLean trying to put some pressure on. And they have it now here with Hernandez, who's playing out on this right hand side, and he earns a throw in. Well, Darren Randolph hasn't had a save to make, but had some nice passages of play inside the Irish half, Gibraltar. Enough just to make sure that Ireland can't get too comfortable. They need that second goal early in the second half. Generally Ireland have been a second half team over the last little while, but I guess one of the things with a performance like this is we don't know actually what it means until the end of the campaign. Is it a sign that the players aren't good enough, or is it just that they can't get up for a game like this? They're going to go with a long throw in. It's almost midway inside the Irish half on this near side, the Gibraltar right. Joseph Cipollina, who scored that own goal, is going to fly it in there towards the near post. Got great length on it as well. Richard Keogh got his head underneath it and heads it out of the Irish penalty area. Liam Walker picks it up for Gibraltar, send it back in, left-footed, deep towards Cipollina at the back post. Well read by McLean though, who would track the run, gets his head on that and heads it behind them. Ireland keep it in play down this left-hand side, and now it's with Hendrick to McLean, still inside his own half, goes over the top towards McGoldrick. He might have been better going further towards Robinson. McGoldrick though helps it on to Hogan on this left-hand side, has options inside the area, rolls it along the ground towards McGoldrick, just in front though of the Sheffield United striker, and Gibraltar managed to get it clear, and they're running into each other, and there was a little push from Scott Hogan. And Callum Robinson's not happy because he was in acres of space over the right hand side.
Nathan, he's got to deliver it early. He gets himself into a scenario where you've got the Gibraltar defence tracking back, which they haven't been doing for most of this game because everything's been in front of them. When we get into a situation where he can slide one, deliver it in, back your left foot. He's not naturally left-footed, but back it. Put in some ball with put it in behind that defence. They're tracking back. They're scurrying to get back into position. And he's checked back and he's given them an opportunity to get themselves set.
Header by Keogh, picked up by McLean inside the Irish half. Little back heel from McGoldrick, almost set Robinson free, but well defended back there by Cipollina. Read what Robinson was trying to do. Would have been clear through in the Gibraltar goal if he'd managed to get away from the defender there. Now it's Joseph Cipollina. He drills it forward there towards the bar. He manages to get on the end of the pass. He's been impressive every time they've managed to get him the ball. Jai DeBar. He's about 30 yards from the Irish goal and is forced to go all the way back to the halfway line.
He's neat and tidy, isn't he? I think he's gotten a move to Real Oviedo.
They have a couple of players playing outside Gibraltar, including Louis Annesley, who's with the Blackburn underage setup. And diagonal ball there, well read by Enda Stevens. Well, Ireland have generally been rock solid at the back. This is very much the first choice back four. They've been rarely troubled. It's been the midfield that have let Ireland down so far. Here's Howerhan again with that crossfield ball onto the feet of Coleman. Coleman can't get it under control though. He knows he should have done better there. Well, that's where Ireland have had most joy, where Howerhan does drop deep, does get involved and try something a little bit more ambitious.
I'd be telling him to do that all day. Coleman's poor there. He should be able to take that out, no problem at all. It's a wonderful ball. Again, another example of Howerhan's ability. But I wonder, what do you say at half time? Have we asked enough questions of Gibraltar? Have we made them work? Are they going to tire after 70 minutes? I don't know.
A polite round of applause for the Irish team at half time. It's the Republic of Ireland 1, Gibraltar 0. The goal, an own goal, was scored by Joseph Cipollina. Good play from Ireland down the right hand side. Coleman pulled the ball back along the ground to David McGoldrick, who really should have scored himself. His shot was going well wide though, but took a wicked deflection off Cipollina and beat his own goalkeeper to give Ireland a fortuitous lead. It has been a most forgettable opening 45 minutes. It's been very, very dull stuff from the Republic of Ireland. Just a couple of chances against the Minnows, who have gathered inside their own half, the Gibraltar team, getting into a huddle. Their manager Julio Ribas getting them all together before they go down into the dugout.
Is he?
Is this a Phil Brown type moment we're about to have here? I'm not sure, but he's getting the entire squad in together. The Irish team trudge off at half time. Mick McCarthy is not going to be happy. They're getting the job done just about though. It is at the break. The Republic of Ireland 1, Gibraltar 0. More analysis to come with Stewie next.
Off the ball on News Talk.
A 6-month spa break. Breaking for lunch on time.
Eating in triple Michelin star restaurants. Restaurants that serve your favourite childhood dinner.
To live happily ever after. After work drinks on a Friday.
To own an Audi.
An Audi in my drive.
You know, sometimes the things you want and the things you can have are the same thing. So get down to your local Audi dealer and test drive the Audi you've always wanted in our 192 sales event today. Audi. Vorsprung durch Technik.
Visit Audi Centre, Bracken Road, Sandyford today to avail of our exclusive offers and test drive your future Audi.
Sale, sale, and still more sale. Bargain Town's biggest ever sale continues with fantastic bargains in every department. The Bargain Town sale continues.
It's called the boardroom because most people in the room are bored. But not when you book at the Red Cow Moran Hotel, where their 21 cutting-edge event spaces are best in class and designed to banish boardroom boredom. Make meetings matter at the Red Cow Moran Hotel. See redcowmoranhotel.com.
It's wedding season, and whether you're a groom or a guest, you're guaranteed to get that perfect fit if you visit the multi-award-winning menswear store, Galvin Tullamore. Home to a selection of the world's finest brands, superior wedding suit hire, and an in-store tailoring service. Galvin Tullamore, where great style meets great service.
I'm home, love. I've got a surprise for you.
Oh, that's nice.
Look out the window.
Okay. Ta-da! What on earth is that?
It's a mobile home. You said you always wanted one.
Mobile phone. I wanted a mobile phone.
Oh, all right. I've sold the house now.
Should have gone to Specsavers for rechargeable hearing aids from €1,000 with PRSI, funded by the Department of Employment Affairs and Social Protection. Ask in store for details.
Join Off the Ball in Abu Dhabi this November 17th to 23rd for the inaugural Off the Ball Open. With flights from Dublin, 5 nights in a 4-star hotel, golf on 2 championship courses, gala awards dinner, Peter Lorry golf clinic, and a live Off the Ball roadshow. So where else would you get it? The inaugural Off the Ball Open. Book now at CassidyTravel.ie and check out offtheball.com.
When it comes to appliances, I like mine delivered, i.e. they're in my kitchen at the time agreed. The biggest brands at the best prices, like washing machines from only $179.95, American fridge freezers from only $599.95, ovens from only $169.95. Technology, dishwashers, barbecues, you don't even have to leave your home. Just clickety-click and bingo, your appliances delivered. AppliancesDelivered.ie. Buy online now.
There's a smarter way to find your perfect 192 than following the crowd. Subtract all the noise that's out there. Then choose a reliable brand, like one sculpted in Germany over 120 years. Filter the list for class-leading connectivity. Now select the one with the smartest choices around, like 0% PCP or HP Finance, €3,000 scrappage or 3 years free servicing. Make the smart switch to Opel. Discover Corsa and Astra at our 120-year anniversary event, now on at your Opel dealership. Opel, born in Germany, made for Ireland. Lending criteria, terms and conditions apply, deposit required. This is a hire purchase agreement provided by Bank of Ireland Finance, a registered trading name of Bank of Ireland. Offer until June 30th.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Coleman with the cross in. McGoldrick with the shot. Deflection. Well, it wasn't pretty, but it doesn't matter for David McGoldrick because the Republic of Ireland have finally taken the lead. 28 minutes gone. The low ball in from the right-hand side from the Irish captain, Seamus Coleman. He picked out the onrushing David McGoldrick. Wasn't the cleanest of strikes. Took a deflection. Keeper could do nothing. And finally, something for these Irish supporters to cheer. Half an hour gone at the Aviva Stadium and Ireland finally make the breakthrough. It's David McGoldrick.
Well, at half-time it's still 1-0. Some of the stats from that game, Ireland have had 71% possession to Gibraltar's 29%. 10 efforts in total on goal, just one of them on target. And Gibraltar have just had one effort on goal, that was off target. Stuey Byrne here alongside Nathan Murphy and myself. Well, I suppose the point here, Stu, you've made it several times, is that eventually Gibraltar will tire their part-time players. Several of them look like part-time players. But what that first 45 minutes goes to show is that Ireland will still have big trouble breaking down any kind of competent opposition between now and the end of the group.
I think that's always been our problem, Joe. You know, we've tended to, well, we've always struggled really in the past where we're overwhelming favourites, and especially when we're playing against teams we're going to sit in and frustrate us.
We struggle
we
struggle as underdogs too.
Which is what we do to other teams. You know, we have to accept that. And I think we struggle in those situations because in those scenarios you need players that are comfortable going high and then dropping in to receive the ball and getting turned with their back to the game.
Yeah.
That is pretty much, it really does come down to that. You know, most of the top teams, all the players can really do it, but you know, all you really need is 2 or 3 players who are comfortable doing it. We mentioned Wes Houlihan, he could do that in spades.
Yeah.
I think Hendrick can do that, but for some reason doesn't do it enough.
I mean, McGoldrick you would think could do it and has done it for Ireland.
Do it, yeah.
But too often, as you've highlighted with Nathan across the commentary, the pattern has been Coleman and Stevens have been high. There have been 4 if not 5 players almost alongside the Gibraltar defensive line.
Too high, yeah.
And you can imagine, so a ball might go into McLean, and instead of him doing what you're talking about, which is a quick short Wes Houlihan turn, and suddenly you're riding on top of that back 4
and you've got options because your players are ahead of you.
Instead, that first touch is heavy and it's back towards the Irish halfway line, and quite often it's so heavy and so safe that he might even give it back to Duffy in the centre circle, and Gibraltar sit there and think, God, this isn't so bad.
Exactly, and now you've got a 70-yard gap between who's got the ball and pretty much 6 or 7 players.
Do we have technicians anywhere? I mean, look, if Wes Houlihan wanted to come back and play, he could play. Like, I'd welcome him back. I think half the reason he retired from international football is he thought he was going to be playing in Australia, and he didn't want to come out of international retirement, and that's just the situation.
Maybe it's a pointless argument, Joe, but if Wes Houlihan and Robbie Keane were out on that pitch, Ireland would be 3-0 up right now.
Do we have anyone out there who can, somewhere in, you know, between the 18-yard box and the 10 yards in front of it, take the ball back to goal, get a quick turn? It's not like they're being put under massive pressure, and just, you know, have Coleman and Stevens then able to run in off the flanks and thread a ball through. Like, geez, we just seem fairly pedestrian.
I think the 2 players that spring to mind would be McGoldrick and Hendrick. I'd love to see Hendrick do more of it, but unfortunately just haven't seen it from him since he, you know, that form he showed in and around the Euros in 2016. Has he really done it at club level? I don't think so. But he's got it in the locker.
Scored a good goal following up the play in Gibraltar.
Yeah, because that's coming onto the game when you know that's always a good sign of a midfielder. But
you're talking about turning.
We need that, which, you know, we need that.
Scott Hogan not have that. Scott Hogan hasn't been very good. He's been caught offside more often than not.
I think the reason he's playing is he's been asked to play that high line because he wants McGoldrick dropping in, and he wants somebody along with him to kind of ask questions in behind that back 4, and he's been caught offside 4 times because of it.
Can Seanie Maguire take the ball back to goal and turn?
Seanie Maguire I've definitely seen do it, yeah. He's very comfortable in that scenario, but he's not getting a look in, is he? So I don't know what's going through McCarthy's mind at the moment. He's going to look at that. These are going to tire. They're definitely going to tire. I can't see them. They have played at times when we've had the ball deep. They've tried to squeeze us. I can't see them doing that. Like, you know, I think Brady at times is also capable of doing it. But unfortunately, it's a case now where we're going to play that sort of. We'll win the game.
Yeah.
Because they'll get tired. I'll be absolutely shocked if they score at this stage.
Is there a case to be made for bringing on actually a more defensive-minded midfielder to try and draw them out a bit?
We saw Glenn Whelan warming up at half-time there. I think he might look at that. I think Houlihan and Hendrick have probably gotten a little bit confused with each other in that first 45 minutes. Confused because he's probably said before the game to the 2 boys, listen lads, mix it up, make sure someone is sitting, so you got to talk with each other, and that'd be a very natural thing to do with your partner in midfield. It hasn't worked out wonderfully well. I think possibly towards the latter half of that first half it did, when Houlihan was the one that was sitting and he was zinging a few balls around.
He got a left foot on him, that's for sure. And Callum Robinson had a few moments, had a few efforts, right foot, left foot, just wide. I should tell you before we go to the ad break, off the ball, back in the road again in association with Super Value from St Finbarr's GAA Club in Cork. People of Cork, we love you. Thursday 20th of June we'll be talking all things Munster final. This is an exclusive offer event, so the only way to enjoy it is to be there on the night. For more information, offtheball.com/events if you're in the St Finbarr's Cork area on Thursday 20th of June. We'd love to see you. A short break, pretty pedestrian here to be honest, pretty underwhelming. We'll see what the second half has to bring. 1-0 Ireland.
Join the conversation on Facebook and Twitter.
Hello, I'm Janet. When my GP diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis, she recommended I visit Foot Solutions for an analysis. The team at Foot Solutions were great. They listened and explained everything to me. I was fascinated with the technology and what it could tell about my feet. After just a week wearing my new custom arch supports, I was finally living without pain and going back to an active lifestyle. I only wish I'd visited Foot Solutions sooner.
For active feet without the pain, drop into Foot Solutions or visit footsolutions.ie.
February, March, April, May, June. Irish emergency and hospital services need a stable, regular supply of blood throughout the year. Unfortunately, the rate of donation dips during the summer months. We know you are busy, but we know we can count on you. So please make the time to visit your clinic this summer. Go to giveblood.ie where every one counts.
We've got great offers this week at your local SuperValu. Like SuperValu Family Apple Bag 10-pack, now 79 cent. Big brand cleaning products like Persil Selected Range, half price. And San Valentino Pinot Grigio wine, now €7. It's got to be SuperValu. Enjoy alcohol responsibly.
Bruce Betting, one of Ireland's leading bookmakers. With best odds guaranteed on UK and Irish horse racing, Bruce Betting has you covered. And with the Bruce Betting app, we're always giving you more. T's and C's apply. Bruce Betting, in-store, online and now on your phone. Over 18s, please gamble responsibly. See dunlewy.net.
Add some extraordinary to your summer this July with Galway International Arts Festival's biggest programme to date. 200 events in 28 venues over 14 days with over 600 artists, including 9 theatre premieres, a massive music lineup at the Heineken Big Top, a spectacular visual arts programme, plus 22 thought-provoking talks, brand new opera, comedy and amazing street spectacle. Full programme now on sale at giaf.ie. Supported by the Arts Council, Fáilte Ireland, Heineken and NUI Galway.
Proudly supported by News Talk.
When it comes to appliances, I like mine delivered, i.e. they're in my kitchen at the time agreed. The biggest brands at the best prices, like washing machines from only $179.95, American fridge freezers from only $599.95, ovens from only $169.95. Technology, dishwashers, barbecues, you don't even have to leave your home. Just clickety-click and bingo, your appliances delivered. AppliancesDelivered.ie. Buy online now.
It's Dacia's 7th birthday and we're Ireland's favourite new car brand. So, competitors, here's how to become as popular as we are. Be shockingly affordable, offer amazing prices, have zero deposit, sell the Dacia Duster from €73 a week. Oh, I'm running out of time here. Should just visit the Dacia 7th birthday event from the 13th to the 15th of June at your local Dacia dealer. Finance is made under a hire purchase agreement. Terms and conditions apply. Subject to lending criteria, see dacia.ie.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Now then, you're very welcome back to the Aviva Stadium. You may see somewhere that David McGoldrick has been credited with the Irish goal. When you see what's happened, you will know that it was one of the most OGs you will ever see. Joseph Cipollina with the goal, not David McGoldrick, despite what you might read somewhere. This was going, I would say, about 25 yards wide before it hit Joseph Cipollina. We saw a shot of Matt Doherty warming up at half-time. Penny for his thoughts. He's 2 or 3 more games away from doing a hell of an interview about this situation, I promise you. We'll try and bring it in off the ball. Nathan Murphy will stick a mic in front of him after a Wolves game and say, what's going on with you in Ireland?
He'll have been there playing Wolves against Burnley thinking no one will ever want to talk to me after this scoreless draw, and I'll have waited for my moment perfectly.
Second half ready to go. Let's hope for better from Ireland.
No changes for either side. The Gibraltarians love a huddle. All their substitutes are down on the sideline having a huddle now. They love a huddle over in Gibraltar.
Not just the first 11, all 25, the rest of them.
No changes for either side at half time. We are back underway here at the Aviva Stadium, where the sun is setting now over the stadium, and very much setting on the football season as well. All these players will be heading off on holidays tomorrow, I'm sure, getting a break for the month or so before pre-season starts again. I know that they'll be out in the town around Dublin tonight. Quiet Monday night in Coppers. So Ireland all in green, white shorts and green socks. They're playing from left to right in this second half. They lead by a 1-0. It was an own goal, no question about it. David McGoldrick still waiting for his first Irish goal, as are Scott Hogan and Callum Robinson also in the team. The Irish team is Darren Randolph in goal, back four of Coleman, Duffy, Keogh and Stevens, Hendrick and Howard in the middle of midfield, then Robinson and McLean on the wings, and McGoldrick and Hogan up front. And for Gibraltar, who have a throw in down this left hand side again, they're going to go long with Joseph Cipollina. They tried one of these right at the end of the first half, and he threw it from this position into the 6-yard box, and pretty much the exact same thing again, but Shane Duffy relished that opportunity to put his big head behind it. It was picked up by a Gibraltar player, heavy touch, and McGoldrick wins the 50-50. Ball spins out to this left hand side though to Cipollina, who's under pressure by Robinson, and Robinson does enough to win the tackle, gets it back to Coleman, and Hendrick with a little ball forward then towards Robinson, skips away from one challenge and then finds McGoldrick in space, tried to help it on first time. Hogan was just on the shoulder of the centre half, which does seem to be very much his job. An unnecessary back heel inside his own half from Cipollina, gives it straight to Robinson, can't find Coleman though. Coleman with a good tug of the jersey of Cipollina, and Cipollina's clearance comes off the right foot of Seamus Coleman, and it will be a throw into Gibraltar. The Gibraltar team then is Goldwyn in goals, a back three of Cipollina, both Cipollinas, that's Joseph who scored the OG, and his cousin Roy, and Louis Annesley who's also playing in that back three. The full backs are Sargent and Oliveira. Hernandez, Pons and Walker and Barden are sort of making a crowd in midfield, and Thierry de Bar has led the line for them. He's been very impressive so far every time they've managed to get him into possession. Lee Casciaro, who started the game, he went off injured after just 8 minutes to be replaced by Anthony Barden. So that's the two teams. Gibraltar attacking down to our left in their white jerseys, red shorts and white socks. Ireland in possession. McLean in a more central position again, loses out to Annesley there, easily won back by the Gibraltar player. A couple of little step overs inside their own half. I think they've realised they're on the telly or something in the second half. We've had back heels, we've had step overs, all on the edge of their own area. A bit unnecessary, but it's good to express yourself, I guess, in these days.
I saw Seamus Coleman doing 5 step overs. I've never seen like that in my life. He's getting more involved in the second half, isn't he? It's something he did in the Denmark game. He said, had enough of this, I'm going to get myself forward.
He's gone forward now. McGoldrick though can't find Seamus Coleman.
Difference is the first half he started too high, whereas he's a little bit deeper now, and he's probably just going to make those wonderful runs he makes in behind.
And Callum Robinson onto Hendrick, finds Seamus Coleman. First time crossing Coleman though is cut out back there by Oliveira and turned behind for the corner kick. So Ireland starting the second half on the front foot. They lead by 1-0. Denmark 2-1 up against Georgia in the other game in this group. The second half of that match also just underway, and again it'll be Conor Howard, the Cork man, to take this corner kick. His left foot has been pretty lethal in open play, not from set pieces so far. What can he deliver this time? Into the near post, it's clear though. Hendrick just couldn't get there, and Robinson will have to go back to the halfway line to end the Stevens. Inside the centre circle, he steps forward, rolls it out to McLean in the little bit of remaining sunshine here in the Aviva Stadium, puts the head down, going to run at the full back, gets the cross in, pulls it behind the 5 Irish players who are inside the area, and it's cleared by Gibraltar out to that left hand side again, and Stevens can't help it on to McLean and needlessly puts it out of play for a throw in to Gibraltar.
Do you know, I just wonder why they haven't just said to Hurahan, look, the height difference between Duffy and any one of the Gibraltar players is ridiculous. Just hang it up for him, put it into an area, hang it up for him. I think the number 12 was marking him on that occasion. It was absolutely, like, he was just towering over him. Instead, Hurahan's just trying to whip a decent ball in front post, and there's no one taking a chance on that one.
Well, goals have been hard to come by for the Republic of Ireland when you go through competitive games recently. To go all the way back to the match against Moldova for the last time they scored 2.
It's just something simple for the players. Say, look, have a little look at where Shane is and say, I'm just going to hang this up for him.
And now up this right hand touchline is Callum Robinson. Had the option of giving it to Coleman, had the option of crossing it in first time. In the end, just held on to it a bit too long. Eventually played a 1-2 with Coleman. Now gets the cross in. Oh, and Hogan was free, but it's headed clear just before it comes to him, and then smashed back in by Enda Stevens. It was low and it was straight out of the Gibraltar defender, and they'll have a chance to clear with Liam Walker, who just thinks it to this left hand side. It'll be kept in play by Pons, just about. The Irish supporters below us feel that it may have gone out for a throw in, but the assistant referee wasn't having it, and now it's Cipollina stepping out of defence there, and again spotting a little bit of space for Barden, who had found his way between the Irish midfielders. Liam Walker on the halfway line, been closed down by Howard. Just rolls the ball back to Joseph Cipollina. And he goes long with the diagonal ball, asking some questions there of Enda Stevens, which he is able to answer. The Sheffield United fullback gets his head on that. McLean knocks it back to him up along that left-hand touchline forward. James McLean. A lovely little step inside from McLean behind Hendrick, though, to be picked up by Howran, and he sweeps it first time to this right-hand side. Better from Ireland now. Robinson has Coleman on the overlap, gives it to Seamus Coleman. Coleman first time low into the area towards Hogan. There wasn't enough pace on it, though. Hogan, I think, wasn't quite expecting it. It just held his run, and that allowed Gibraltar to clear.
Look, it's a similar scenario to the goal. Coleman got himself in behind and he's pulled him back from a Goldrick, but on that occasion he's got to hang it up. We've got 4 players in the box. Whip it in or hang it up back post, ask a few questions to the defenders. He's pulled it back, defenders read it.
Cross from Robinson,
Great
spots
ball.
McLean free at the back post, just too high for McLean, does get his head on it, sends it straight up into the air, comes out to Enda Stevens, who smashes a half volley high up above the crossbar.
He's always going to hit, doesn't he? The lad in the crowd has got it.
Caught it
Blue
first
hoodie.
time. Good goalkeeping.
It's like in the cricket.
That was the most excitement we've seen so far. Was a catch.
You're not allowed to keep it if you catch it, no?
He handed it back straight away. So 52 minutes gone. Still the Republic of Ireland leading by a 1-0. And you get the sense from most people the season can't end quickly enough.
Well, do you know what, Nathan? What we've done in the first 8 minutes, 7-8 minutes, we're getting players into the box, and we've done that the whole game. What we haven't done well is we haven't got the delivery in. You know, Coleman has been guilty of it, as anybody has, and you wouldn't expect it, but at any one time we've worked the ball wide. We've got 3 or 4 players in the box waiting for that delivery. Whip it in, put it in there, put a bit of height on it, and go and ask questions.
It certainly doesn't look as though Mick McCarthy's thinking about any changes at the moment. I can't see any Irish players actually out warming up, any of the substitutes warming up. There's a few Gibraltar substitutes there.
Coleman taking up that high position again.
On to Robinson. Robinson trying to skin the full back, brings it to the end line, gets the cross in again. It's deep. Again, it's over the head of all the Irish players. It'll be picked up though over on the left hand side by Howran. As Stevens close by instead plays a nice little ball in behind for McLean, takes the extra touch, goes back outside to Howran. First time ball swept in there, one in the air by Scott Hogan, got his head on it, but no great power, and comfortably saved in the end by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, better. McLean's done really well there actually, because Hurahan's played him in behind. He's had the opportunity to whip it in, but he was marked. He knew he was marked, so he checked out, didn't want to waste the ball. He's gone back to Hurahan, who's put a lovely ball in, and Hogan got his head in it. Could have ended up nestling on the back of the net, but that's what I think we need to do a little bit more of. Good deliveries into the box.
I'm sure Mick McCarthy will be very disappointed if none of those 3 attacking players, Robinson, McGoldrick or Hogan, were to get on the score sheet. Instead of 4 Irish strikers in the squad, not a single international goal between them, and that's a frustrated tackle I think there from David McGoldrick, just sticking out his boot, taking down Oliveira on the halfway line, giving away the free kick somewhat needlessly, and gets away without giving and earning a yellow card though.
Yeah, well, they can play if you give them time and space. They've proved that in certain situations. And it goes back to, I mean, have we asked enough questions of these that we can tire them out? I don't think we have. I mean, and that's going to add to the frustration of the Irish players as well. We're going to come to 70-75 minutes. It's going to still be 1-0. They're going to be saying, well, hey, how come these guys aren't, falling off their feet? And the reason they aren't falling out their feet because we haven't done anything to make them do so.
Yeah, they haven't been run ragged, that's for sure. Shane Duffy up over the halfway line, along the ground to Coleman with the socks rolled down around his ankles now. Coleman gets the cross in low, doesn't get past the first defender in the 6-yard box, and again Gibraltar trying to play a bit of football when they have it inside their own half. Lots of nice little touches here and there. De Bar has dropped deep this time, and again every time he gets the ball he looks very comfortable and spins a pass with the outside of his right boot to this left hand side. Lovely football at times.
That's all
from Gibraltar.
Just when the deliveries come into the box, he didn't panic, and he's just laid it. He's got his back to goal. I think we probably would have booted it into row Z, but he's just casually played it to his own player, and they've played a little 1-2 in their own box.
They've actually at times probably played the best football of the 2 midfields, certainly the most intricate. The problem for Gibraltar, all their good football has come in the middle third, and this time they can't get the ball through to the bar. It's intercepted by Richard Keogh's bombing forward there, brings it forward 20-30 yards and then lays it off to this right hand side to Coleman. It was slightly overhit, forced Coleman further wide than he would have wanted. Plays a quick 1-2 with McGoldrick, back to Coleman. This time he does think it up, and again it's Scott Hogan who's in there, gets his head on it, but the ball Off his forehead, up into the air, and easily claimed by the keeper. And they throw it out quickly, and they've got a 3v3 break here. Liam Walker's the player bombing forward. He's still 35 yards out. His options here with the substitute Byrne just outside the area. They've slowed things down. Back to Walker again, onto his left foot, takes a deflection. The shot off Howrahan, which took the sting out of it, and straight back into the arms of Darren Randolph.
I think as Howrahan has eventually gotten the block, he's absolutely roaring at his team. I mean, you can't have a situation where you have a 3v3 break like that, because you've got too many players getting into the box saying, yeah, I want to get a goal, I want to get a goal. Similar situation in the first half where we had a little go of Hendrick and Howrahan saying, listen, one of you have to sit. You know, you can't all just bomb into the box looking to get goals. Same things happened there. And one thing Gibraltar have proved is that, you know, they've got composure. You know, and especially defensively, they've got lads that just head balls to their own players or casually just play balls to their own players. They don't panic. And in that scenario, they've got a chance to go and break.
Yeah, Ireland desperately need a second goal, because the last thing you want to be doing is going into the final 5-10 minutes just 1-0 up, and they get a set piece or they create an opportunity. Well, not too many chances, not too much for the goalkeeper, the Gibraltar goalkeeper, to do. He barely had a save to make. Ireland have had some half chances. That's better. Slide rule ball in from Robinson to Coleman inside the area, pulls it across. McGoldrick's shot is saved by the goalkeeper. He never looked, it wasn't quite ready for it, I think, David McGoldrick. And Callum Robinson with the initial ball to Coleman. Coleman spotted McGoldrick, and it went through two players' legs, and maybe that's why McGoldrick wasn't quite ready.
But what's he done, Nathan? He's gotten turned. We spoke about it at half time. He's brave enough, he knows he's got 5 yards, he gets turned. Gibraltar player goes, engages, that brings the space in behind, and he's just slipped one in for Coleman. We should have scored there.
It just bobbled in front of McGoldrick. McLean on the attack this time, sends it to the back post. Hogan took it away from Hendrick and Coleman, who were coming in at the back post. Scott Hogan is desperate to get a goal. He really should have got the call there from either Coleman or Hendrick. Coleman has it on this right hand side and doesn't find Callum Robinson, and then Howrahan wins the ball back for Ireland with a crunching sliding tackle. Takes the ball off. Duffy again goes backwards when there's 6-7 players in front of him. Stevens out to the left-hand touchline to McLean, who's starting to grow in confidence and really come into the game in the second half. James McLean brings it towards the end line. 5 Irish players inside the area. Pulls it back to Stevens, forward to McLean, who looked from here to be in an offside position. It didn't matter in the end because the pass forward was overhit by Enda Stevens and rolls out of play for a goal kick to Gibraltar. And again, 5 Irish players waiting for a cross.
Enda's got to deliver
that
it, yeah.
Never came.
He's got to deliver it. It was a similar scenario to the situation where McLean and Howrahan had about 5-6 minutes ago. You know, McLean is finding himself in a situation now where he's got 2 on him. He's drawn those players in. When he's laid that back to Enda, he's got to whip it in straight away. We've got players in the box. I think we've got a height advantage as well. Gibraltar maybe a little bit leggy, maybe now starting to see the signs, but you've got to keep asking the questions.
58 minutes gone. It's still Ireland 1, Gibraltar 0. If you're just joining us here on Off the Ball, the goal came on half an hour, an own goal by Joseph Cipollina after the initial shot from Dave McGoldrick was going well wide. It's been really poor stuff though from the Republic of Ireland. They've created a few half chances, but you couldn't say that they've been laying siege to the Gibraltar goal. In the Stevens, would you look at Matt Doherty as an option at left back? And this time it's Howrahan again trying that crossfield ball. Generally they've come off, but this time it hasn't.
He's played it blind. Do you know why? Because Coleman has been there for most of the game, but he dropped back in to get a shin guard that fell over his sock, so he wasn't in position. But he's played it blind. I think McCarthy's actually had a word with him, believe it or not, and he's asked him to do a little bit more of it. A couple of minutes ago he had a chance to zing one over to James McLean and he didn't do it, and I think McCarthy said, you know what, do it.
Well, one thing we can take from these couple of games is that Mick McCarthy's a bit of a Nostradamus. He said before Denmark he'd be thrilled with a draw, he'd take a 1-1 if he was offered it before he even left Dublin, and he got that. Said ahead of this game, if it ends in a scrappy 1-0 off somebody's backside, I'm not bothered.
Probably
exactly what happened.
Probably speaking from experience and from the first game.
Here come Ireland again on this right hand side. Coleman's cross, first time, comes off the Gibraltar defender and behind
Oliveira. That's the second time he's done that. He's
another corner kick. They take it quickly. Coleman doesn't wait for Howrahan. This time he was trekking across, plays it low to Howrahan, thinks it inside then to Hendrick, who's just hesitating, just so casual from Jeff Hendrick inside the Gibraltar penalty area. Needed to take that on quickly, but just didn't seem in any real rush. And Gibraltar, well, they weren't going to pulled back, took the ball away from him and managed to clear the danger.
Yeah, had a situation to actually roll the defender as well once he got his body in front, but just not the confident Jeff Hendrick we've seen before in an Ireland jersey.
And we thought we'd seen a different Jeff Hendrick with his performance against Georgia back in March. Hasn't been able to follow that on. Coleman gets away from initial challenge. Back to Hendrick. Onto his left foot. Off balance. Blocked down at close range. Comes out for Robinson. Another block by Oliveira. Back to the wall stuff at the moment from Gibraltar. They're hanging on in there though as we pass the hour mark. Goes up towards the halfway line. Duffy helps it on to Stevens, on to McLean. Return ball then for McGoldrick. They're looking for the offside. Hasn't come. McGoldrick by the end line. Drills it in low to the near post. The goalie doesn't clear it. It's all scrappy on the ground. Scott Hogan threw his boot on it, and the goalkeeper somehow just about did enough. Didn't really know what he was doing to clear it out for a corner kick. It was a smart cross in low from David McGoldrick, who had spotted the run of Scott Hogan. Hogan though just couldn't get the connection he needed.
All meant to the pump here. I think it was Ainsley that got the initial block from Hendrick's chance. He got himself torn inside the 18-yard box. Looked to me like it was going in the back of the net, but a big number 6 has gotten a block on it. Then Oliveira got the second one.
Corner kick met in the air by Duffy, but the referee blows his whistle. Shane Duffy, there might have been a little nudge there. He was backpedaling from the corner kick for Howerhan, so it will be a free kick to Gibraltar. But Ireland starting up the ante a little bit, putting on a little bit of pressure, and well, not before time, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, probably said it earlier on, like why doesn't Howerhan just pick out Duffy? I think he's tried to do it on that occasion. I think the big man just got sucked in a little bit early. Ball was gone over his head, and as he's sidestepped back, he's ended up giving the foul away. But when you look at the height difference between him and Cipollina,
their goalkeepers just kicked the ball straight out of play from a goal kick for the third time. Ireland take the throw in quickly with Coleman forward to Robinson. They've started to link up well in this second half. They need the deliveries to be better. Oh, lovely bit of skill from Robinson. Gets the cross in again, not past the first man though. Headed clear. Howerhan has it. Rolls it to this right hand side to Coleman. 5 options inside the area. Takes a touch, maybe a touch too many. Rolls it short to Hendrick just outside the Gibraltar penalty area. Robinson made the run in behind. It's too heavy though from Hendrick. And again, it's wasteful from Ireland when they put so many men forward. Well, they lacked the quality necessary.
Yeah, looks to me like he's feeling a little bit now, Hendrick. You know, just looking at the body language on his head, he knows he's got a chance there to turn on the box. He doesn't do it. Gets a second opportunity out of to play Robinson in, and it's an easy pass for a player of his quality, and he's overplayed it. Put it wide. Goalkeeper's getting absolute hammered here.
The noise you're hearing is for the goalkeeper. Gibraltar are going to make a change before, so he's going to have a little bit more time to think about this kick out. It's the most exciting part of the game so far. Alain Pons has been replaced by Ethan Brito. So here he goes. Can the goalkeeper, can Kyle Goldwyn keep this ball in play? This is what it's all about on a Monday night at the Aviva Stadium. He drills it to the left. Seamus Coleman, no, they keep it in play this time. Massive disappointment for the Irish supporters.
This is the new Mexican wave, is it?
Can the goalkeeper keep his kick out in play? We shouldn't be laughing. Ireland are still only leading by a goal to nil. This is going to come back and haunt us.
No, we can laugh if we want.
Liam Walker trying a little step over, didn't get away from Duffy, and Coleman gets the ball back to Darren Randolph. I had a feeling it wasn't going to be a comfortable night when I looked at the back page of the programme and they do their little on this day, you know, recording momentous days in the history of Irish football. Now granted, 100 years ago today, Kevin O'Flanagan was born in Dublin, a dual international, played rugby and football for Ireland, played with Bohemians and then Arsenal, scored in his international debut against Norway. Worth marking. 7 years ago, this day 7 years ago, we lost to Croatia on the opening day of Euro 2012.
Yeah, real negative.
That gets in there. And this day 5 years ago, we lost 5-1 to Portugal in the friendly.
Yeah.
Both marked in the programme today. This day will join those days
you set the standard
of infamy. Yeah. Ireland have the ball inside the Gibraltar half. Ireland are pushing more and more men forward. Pretty much all the outfield players now. They've got 7 of them in and around the area. Comes again to Coleman. Standing still, rolls it back to Hendrick, 25 yards out, urged to shoot. Don't think he's got the confidence to shoot from there at the moment. Jeff Hendrick, who was of course the match winner in Gibraltar. Now McGoldrick skips past one challenge, slides it through to Hogan. This might be the chance, and the keeper saves at the near post. Hit it first time, spun his body to take the shot on from close range, and it was a good stop in the end. We were mocking him a minute ago, but Kyle Goldwyn has done well there to deny Scott Hogan.
Yeah, hell of a save. McGoldrick, lovely little slide through pass. It's real intricate stuff, very, very tight, because you know Gibraltar have literally.
So this is the final kick of the game for Scott Hogan. because Seanie Maguire is about to come on for the final 25 minutes of this game to win his 6th cap. And it just hasn't happened for Scott Hogan. He was caught offside a lot. He certainly wasn't lacking in energy, just lacking a bit of sharpness in front of goal. So Seanie Maguire is a firm fan's favourite. Former Cork City man is on for this corner kick. Howerhan sends it in, keeper comes, keeper got nowhere near it, but the Gibraltar defence managed to clear. Enda Stevens chips it back in. Duffy's free at the back post, too high, keeps it alive though, and eventually Gibraltar do enough to get it out of their own area. And again they come, and the counter attack. There's a cynical challenge from Stevens. The referee says play on. For a split second it looked as though they might have another 3v3 break. Ireland are going clear. Gibraltar claiming they never got an advantage. Ireland may take full advantage. Cross from Maguire. Did it come off a hand there? There's appeals. And he put his hands to his chest, the Gibraltar defender, and the referee doesn't give it. Well, Ireland were very lucky again there. They're pushing so many men forward in search of a second goal.
Thought they might have pulled back for the foul in the bar. No, they didn't really get much advantage out of it.
I think when the referee eventually goes back, Enda Stevens will have to get a yellow card for that. Oh, Duffy gives it away. And Liam Walker wasn't quite ready for it, couldn't control the ball inside the Irish half, and Ireland get away with that. But we must remember, as we're at the midway point of this second half, everybody's just so relaxed. It's been such a friendly atmosphere that Ireland are still leading by just a goal to nil, and it only takes one moment for Gibraltar to pull off a hell of an upset. If Ireland can't push forward and get the second goal, they'll have another chance from a set piece. We're well into double figures for corner kicks now. And Shane Duffy hasn't been able to get his head on any of them yet. There is a yellow card for Enda Stevens, and well, he deserved that because Gibraltar were trying to break on the counter-attack and he just hauled down the Gibraltar player. So another corner kick. Duffy goes forward, Keogh goes forward, and it will be Howerhan again over on the left-hand side this time. As we look at that appeal for a handball, I think the player just pulled his arm back in town. Howerhan's corner kick again, good pace. Oh, Maguire and Duffy flew into each other, and that looked really, really nasty. The ball's gone behind.
Big man's hurt, isn't he?
Yeah, Shane Duffy has thrown himself to the ground. Well, maybe he's just winded. And obviously Shane Duffy's had a horror injury previously in Ireland duty when he was just a kid. So Alan Byrne, the Irish doctor, straight over to treat him. Seanie Maguire picks himself up gingerly. And they were both at an awkward angle, throwing themselves trying to win the header. And Maguire was going backwards. Duffy was flying in, and well, there was obviously no call. If Maguire had actually left that, Shane Duffy probably would have had a free header, and there was no clash of heads. I don't think.
I don't think so, Nate. Yeah, which is good. Just more whiplash maybe on the neck, possibly, or just it looks like he's holding his ribs. Just a bit of a bang. I think he's okay, but probably had the common sense just at the last second just to pull his head out of it, because he looked committed to me, didn't he? He looked like he was just going to lunge at it with a diving header. Just spotted Maguire backtracking into his path and just pulled out of it.
Well, thankfully Shane Duffy is alright to continue. Just looking at the Irish substitutes that are out there, Callum O'Dowda is out warming up, and so too is it John Egan who's down there. Well, either way, Matt Doherty ain't warming up. 69 minutes gone, Ireland 1, Gibraltar 0. Shane Duffy is fine, Seanie Maguire is fine. Here's Maguire, he's got it behind, he's onside this time. His touch though just allowed the Gibraltar defender over in the left hand side to get back, helps it on to McLean. McLean drills it across from a tight angle up high, sort of went along the goal line almost, picked up at the back post by Coleman, who sends this cross back in, headed clear by Gibraltar. And Seamus Coleman's final ball has been well below par tonight. Sends a throw in up along the line for Robinson. And they've had a huge amount of possession in the second half, Robinson and Coleman, without creating really enough. Attendance tonight, 36,281. I guess that's tickets distributed is what they say.
Just having another replay of that lovely Enda Stevens ball up to Sean Maguire. I mean, when Hogan was doing this in the first half, he was getting himself caught offside. Maguire, clever, timed his run absolutely perfect. It was a wonderful take from a 60-yard pass down the line. The quality has been poor, Coleman, hasn't it? He's definitely looking to make things happen. I don't know whether he's trying too hard on certain occasions, but his delivery has been poor. He just got to hang it up. Just hang it up in the air. They have no real big man at the Gibraltar in defence.
McLean does hang one up, and this time it's straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Again, McGoldrick was waiting in case there was a fumble just behind. Kasper Dahlberg has scored again to make it 3-1 to Denmark, so they're getting the job done. And one thing's for sure, the Republic of Ireland will be hoping that this doesn't come down to goal difference, because, well, we're not doing ourselves any favours. Robbie Brady is about to come on. He is going to replace Callum Robinson, it looks like, in a minute. I said Callum O'Dowda was the other player who was warming up. So Seanie Maguire, who also hasn't scored for the Republic of Ireland, had another injury-plagued season. McGoldrick has it, is onside, onto his right foot inside the area, going across laterally. He hits his right-footed shot off the right-hand post. And a real let-off for Gibraltar, so close to the Republic of Ireland settling this game. Did it all on his own, David McGoldrick. Picked the ball up on the left side of the area and sort of weaved his way across the line on the edge of the area and fired in a right-footed shot that beat the keeper, but came back off that right-hand post.
Yeah, just one of them where he's cut in from the corner of the D. He's threatened to strike, doesn't do it, takes another step, threatens to strike, doesn't do it, takes another step. And at that particular case, he looks like he's just going to slip it into the far corner. He does everything right, and it's come off the inside of the bar. Goldman had no chance.
Enda Stevens in a really central position, gives it to Callum Robinson, gets the shot off, blocked by the Gibraltar defender, goes high into the air, battles away with Hendrick. Looked like there was an arm around the shoulder of Jeff Hendrick. The referee says play on. It may work out for Ireland because Hendrick has it now. Coleman 25 yards out, just didn't realise that Cipollina was behind him and slides in and takes the ball away from the Ireland captain. And again, Gibraltar are able to take it clear quite comfortably, and the bar skips away from one challenge of Keogh, but is bundled over by McLean. Appeals that he should have got a free kick.
Let a bit go in the last couple of minutes, isn't he?
18 minutes left, still just the one goal advantage for Ireland as McLean takes a wild right-footed shot, comes off the back of David McGoldrick. He turns to the referee to appeal for a corner kick. He's on your team, James. I don't think it's going to happen.
That was worth a shout.
So Callum Robinson, much like Scott Hogan, unable to break his international duck. What do you think of his performance?
I thought he was very good. I think, especially in that second half, like, we were questioning whether we had a player that could, get torn in scenarios and make things happen. He was the one player for me in a short period in the second half that's done that. I think he may be looking. I think we need to freshen up a little bit tactically wise, because it's probably a little bit too predictable at the moment. We've got bodies. Gibraltar are just set in stone now. They've practically got 10 men behind the ball. Maybe something a little bit different.
And straight away, Seanie Maguire tries to set his fellow substitute Robbie Brady free. Remember, Gibraltar don't look like they're running out of energy. The defence have done very well during this game. Throw into Ireland, almost down by the corner flag, down to our right. Still bright around Dublin, a definite end of season feel to this. As Brady sends in a left foot across, good power, and it's hooked almost towards his own goal by Cipollina, who has one own goal and wasn't too far away from scoring a second, but this time it goes to the left and for a corner kick. Ireland need to find Shane Duffy's head at some stage with one of these.
There's the instruction for Robbie Brady. Get it out of your feet and just whip balls in all day. Just deliver, and start putting this Gibraltar defence under serious pressure.
Well, Brady's had to give up set-piece duties over the last couple of games to Howrahan, and it is Howrahan who takes this over on the far side. Sent in, it is met in the air by Shane Duffy. No great power behind it. The ball's allowed bounce inside the 6-yard box. Well, I'm not quite sure why the referee has blown his whistle for a free kick to Gibraltar. The goalkeeper threw himself to the ground. It had looked as though a Gibraltar defender actually pushed Seanie Maguire.
That's what it looked like
to me.
Have a
look at the replay.
Lad, he's absolutely just shoved.
He shoved Robbie Brady out of the way. He shoved Robbie Brady into the goalkeeper. Seanie Maguire was there as well, but listen, it's the usual story. The goalkeeper gets the decision. Final quarter of an hour. Again, sends it out to this left-hand side. It's kept in play, and the header was won by Britain and headed out of play then by Shane Duffy. They're going to make their final change in a moment, Gibraltar. Well, Ireland moving forward quickly now with Richard Keogh. I get the sense this game can't end quickly enough. They just want to get to the beach. Much bigger test to come as Maguire down the left-hand side didn't read the pass for McLean and played it straight out of play.
McLean wanted it earlier, didn't he? Then he just hesitated. When he hesitated, Maguire just played the pass.
Final change for Gibraltar. Andrew Hernandez, who's playing out on the right-hand side, is going to be replaced by Ethan Jolie. And they've just made a change.
Hernandez just hit the deck on the far side and he's pulling the socks down.
Does that suggest that maybe Gibraltar are happy with a 1-0 defeat?
That's the oldest trick in the book. You know a player's coming up, you get word to them, tell them to go over the far side, hit the deck, kill the game. I'll tell you what they'll be thinking. They'll be thinking, can we keep this at 1-0 and maybe nick one?
4-1 now to Denmark. Yusuf Poulsen, who was so impressive against Ireland on Friday night, has added a fourth. So they're going to get their first win of the campaign. So Hernandez is coming off. He's just thrown himself to the ground over the far side just to keep us all here a little bit longer.
The referee's gone over and had a word, and it's something we should have done over the incident with the goalkeeper as well. It went on for at least a minute too long. He's gone over and said, listen, alright, I know it's your up to pal, off the pitch, you can walk around the far side. Now he's got to walk around by the Irish fans now. I hope he gets a little bit of a bashing. He deserves it.
Did you give us a song during the break and play, Stewie?
He needs an earful. Get on with the game, you know. I'm surprised that the Irish players haven't been a little bit more proactive about that as well.
He's done it again. The goalie's kicked it straight out of play, and the Irish supporters have gone wild behind that goal. It's as good as it gets. It's as good as it's got for Ireland during the second half. That's how much of a shambles this performance has been. The most excitement has been that for the fourth time the goalkeepers kicked the ball straight out of play from the goal kick.
Well, it's street rules. What is it? 3 corners is a goal. So 3 kick outs wide is a goal.
Could you not move over to the other side of the 6-yard box?
Just kick it over to the right hand side.
Well, no, but you'd be giving yourself then the extra. He's obviously got his dimensions wrong or something here. Well, the ball from Coleman is into Maguire, and Maguire just drifted offside. Coleman ain't happy with that because again it was one of those passes where he played it into the perfect position, but well, Ireland have been caught offside more in this match than I can remember in any recent game.
McCarthy's having a little bit of go there. Mick McCarthy's on the edge of his seat, on the edge of his area, having a little bit of a pop.
So the Irish players get a little break now, but they'll be back in international duty early in the new season. Switzerland come here at the beginning of September. There'll be a friendly then against Bulgaria, and then that big double-header trip to Georgia and Switzerland in the space of 4 games before they finish up the qualifiers against Denmark in November. Still leading by 1-0. On the attack with Seamus Maguire on this right hand side. Little ball along the ground back to Brady. Brady trying to slide it through to Coleman. There was too much on it though. It was very intricate stuff. There was no real space there, and Gibraltar just smashed the ball clear for a throw in on this near side.
Yeah, worth a try. I think Coleman made a wonderful run, about 50 yards sprinting in behind. Definitely worth a try. In the hope he might pull in a penalty or whatever.
Well, the problems that Mick McCarthy face are still going to be there for Stephen Kenny in 15 months' time of who's going to score the goals as the cross comes in from Robbie Brady over the head of the Irish player and cleared by Gibraltar only as far as Hendrick to Howard and out to the left-hand side to McLean. Head down, brings it to the byline. Again, can't find an Irish player. Sent back in by Hendrick. Oh, a scuffed clearance. The ball is eventually acrobatically cleared though by Cipollina. Sort of been an all-action performance by Joseph Cipollina. Got the own goal. Not afraid to show off a little bit, taking his chances.
Oh yeah, I think we're getting too far ahead of it at this stage, Nate. 90 times we're starting to get deliveries into the box now. We're just too far ahead of it. We're literally with 4 players on some occasions inside the 6-yard box. Just need one player to be a little bit clever and just take 5 or yards back. Just thinking about Robbie Brady, how frustrated must he be? I mean, he was guaranteed starter, for Ireland, one of the top men we had, and obviously the injury has set him back a little bit. And difficult for him to come on in this sort of situation. He probably thought he'd be a starter tonight. I know there was questions over whether he would or not. Difficult time with injury. I think he looks a little bit, it's funny to say, a little bit underweight for me. I think he needs to,
underweight.
A little bit underweight, yeah. Sometimes that happens when you have a long-term injury. You get a little bit obsessed with putting on weight as a player, so you keep your weight down, and then you find yourself in a situation where you've done too much. You've dropped too much weight, and your energy levels aren't there. So
just hasn't played much football either. He's only started 1 game since before Christmas for Burnley in the Premier League. Obviously had such a terrible time over the last 18 months with injury. And Ireland need to get Robbie Brady back playing first-team football on a regular basis. He needs a good pre-season under his belt. He's going to take a throw in here midway inside the Gibraltar half. It's still Ireland 1, Gibraltar 0, and not a whole lot has been happening. It's been fairly dull fare for the most part. Ireland still just leading with that Cipollina own goal on half an hour. Cross from Stevens on the left-hand side, cleared by that man Cipollina. Back out to the Irish left. Stevens back to McLean. Now Hourihan skips past one challenge, sends it in low, and can't find Seanie Maguire. And again, good defensive play from Gibraltar. I guess any day they go away from home and the opposition don't have one of their own players on the score sheet, they would generally say is a job well done. And as it stands, that is the case. Quite pedestrian at the moment from Ireland. They've all the ball inside the Gibraltar half. Nothing really happening though. This time it's Brady who can't get his cross past the first man. Has this just been good defending from Gibraltar, or is just really poor wing play from the Irish
I think the one thing we haven't had is a situation where we've worked the ball wide quickly and we've been able to whip balls in with the Gibraltar defence on the back foot. In other words, with them sort of moving back towards our goalkeeper. They've been so set. It's always in front of them. It's never behind them. You know, because they've and when you've got that scenario, the quality of the delivery has to be perfect, and you have to be hitting areas all the time. I'd say that the quality hasn't been there.
Well, McLean got a shot off from the edge of the area. It looked like there was a little tug of his jersey which put him off balance. It was a low shot that went to the right and wide.
I don't see how his referee hasn't given that. He's looking straight at it. Yeah, McLean's having a pop at the referee. He's wondering why he hasn't given it.
Here comes another goal kick. He's not taking as many risks now. Shane Duffy steps forward. Big, powerful header up towards Maguire. Cleared though by Gibraltar and picked up right in the centre of the pitch by Stevens. Quick 1-2 with McLean. Stevens flowing forward there, can't find a way through to Maguire, but it'll be picked up second ball by McLean, and he then can't slide it through to Maguire. And well, they've got a good solid 5-man defensive line, Gibraltar, that Ireland have struggled time and time again to find a way through. And as it stands, it'll be 10 points from 4 games, which is job done, which I'm sure is how Mick McCarthy will look at it. He's here for one reason and one reason alone. It's not to grow Irish football into the future. It's to qualify for Euro 2020.
I think this game will annoy him, Nathan. You know, when you look at the first 3 games, you go Gibraltar away, gets us going. Then you've got the Georgia game, could be a tricky one, we win it. Denmark away, you'll take the point definitely. But this is the game you would have been saying, this is the one that will get us going.
Corner kick again, and Duffy goes up and wins the header and doesn't get it on target and just punches the air in frustration this time. Felt he should have done a little bit better.
Probably Keogh didn't put him off there. I think he found the space all right.
Well, that's a couple of occasions now that Hourihan has found Duffy, and he's actually been put off by one of his own teammates. It was Richard Keogh this time. Well, Ireland have had over a dozen corners. Oh, he hasn't done it again. He's done it again. 5 times now Kyle Goldwyn has kicked the ball straight out of play. Maybe it's a tactic. Maybe they feel they're really good at defending throw-ins.
I'm not going to say that.
I won't say what you've just written down in front of me. It's highly libelous. Anyway, James McLean. Can Ireland get a second goal? Do we get nervous at some stage that maybe Gibraltar nick one?
Well, you get players that are just too keen to do things. I think that corner is a very, very good example. You've got Duffy and Keogh jumping for the same ball because I'm just getting overly keen, overly stressed, trying to get something on it.
And David McGoldrick, low shot, almost deflected into the path of Seanie Maguire, but went behind him in the end and will be picked up by the goalkeeper. A text in from Keith, and this is going to be a talking point without question over the next few days. Surely it's unacceptable that Matt Doherty can't make this team. He's our best player.
Yeah, well, look, this is obviously growing traction now, isn't it? I mean, I can see what the questions are going to be asked of Mick McCarthy after this game. When you have a player like Matt Doherty, how well he's played in the Premiership this year, the games he's played. Plus, I don't know whether something's been said, whether they've had a word with each other. But he's brought Robbie Brady on a situation where Doherty could have come on. I don't know. I mean, let's see what he says.
Robbie Brady, there was a chance there to slide in Seanie Maguire, but his pass was heavy yet again. And Ireland have definitely lacked quality inside the final third, which is obviously reflected in the scoreline. 5 minutes left, Ireland 1, Gibraltar 0 here and off the ball. We'll have reaction from the Irish players and management team on tomorrow's OTB AM from 7:30. That is our breakfast sports show, which is live on all our social channels. You can get it on offtheball.com as well. Jaron Owen will be back in the morning yet again. So it's a throw into Gibraltar over on the far side of the pitch. And could there be a sting in the tail? In fact, it's a free kick to Gibraltar right over on the right hand touchline. Could there be a bit of a sting in the tail for Ireland? Darren Randolph hasn't had a save to make, but well, really, I think everybody coming here tonight expected to be a lot more comfortable than this. And the free kick goes long, comes off the head of Enda Stevens, goes behind him and back to Darren Randolph, who's probably glad to just get a touch of the ball, and throws it out quickly to this right hand side to Coleman. Brady comes short for Coleman, just inside the Gibraltar half, and then gives it to his best mate and teammate all the way up from St. Kevin's through the Irish underage system, and still together at Burnley at the moment, Jeff Hendrick. Now it's McLean. McLean now out to Stevens. What can he deliver as he brings it towards the end line? Just checks his run, back to McLean on the angle of the area on the left hand side, puts his head down, drills a low cross in towards McGoldrick, and it's well read again by the Gibraltar defender and turned behind for yet another corner kick. This game just seems to be an endless cycle of corner kicks for the Republic of Ireland.
And the one thing they have done very well, Gibraltar, they've gotten, when they get men in the box, they get men in the right place.
Hourahan, yet again an outswinger. There's massive bodies in there, goes through all of them somehow and comes to this near side where it's picked up by Hendrick. And his left foot, he passes it low to Coleman. Brady then back to Hendrick on this right hand side. Brady looking to get as many touches as possible, it seems. Out to McLean, 30 yards out. Thought about taking the shot, throws the ball over the top. Richard Keogh goes down, and it's a penalty kick. Is it? No, it's a goal kick.
It looked like he was pointing, yeah.
It certainly looked as though he was pointing towards the penalty spot. It was a sort of clumsy coming together. McLean just floated the ball over the top, and it should have been a penalty kick, yeah. Without question. The defender stepped across in front of him, Ethan Jolly, the substitute, and just caught Richard Keogh. Maybe the referee was somewhat blindsided by it, but that should have been a penalty kick to the Republic of Ireland.
It was a lazy leg, wasn't it? Yeah, it looked like he had his eye on the ball, but maybe cleverly just left the leg in there. Tricked the referee anyway.
Coleman. I'd say Seamus Coleman's had more touches of the ball than anybody else. Hourahan's roaring for the ball in the centre of the pitch. Eventually it comes to him. A little pass then exchange there with Stevens, who's been playing in a more advanced role as well. They work it out to the left hand side to McLean. It's probably a long time, I think, since Ireland had this much possession in a game, but they've done very little with it as Hendrick spins away from a challenge. Comes to Robbie Brady, who smashes a shot over the top of the crossbar, tried to bend it into the top corner, got too much onto it, holds his head in his hands. He's just so eager to make an impression at the moment, Robbie Brady.
He's disgusted with himself because this has felt really, really nice for him. He wasn't in any rush, he wasn't being put under any pressure to snap at it. It's kindly come onto his left foot. I mean, there's only one or two players that you'd want that to fall to. It'd be either Robbie Brady or Hourahan, because it's made for a natural left footer. He's just gotten it all wrong. He's leaning back and he's ballooned it into the crowd.
This time they managed to keep the goal kick in play. We're into the final 90 seconds. Ireland still leading by a goal to nil. Gibraltar haven't had a shot on target. And can they force something and force some pressure? Well, everybody here is hoping not. Ireland attacking down the right. McLean has drifted over this side. David McGoldrick gets the man of the match award, and again Ireland under no pressure. James McLean plays it straight out of play, and it's a throw into Gibraltar. Dave McGoldrick gets the man of the match. I guess they had to give it to somebody.
I don't know how they're going for that one, all right, yeah. I think Hourahan's been decent. I think he's tried things. He's hasn't given the ball away much.
Well, David McGoldrick will get an award, but he's not going to get the goal as much as he wants it.
It's been given the 10th
cap.
They've given him the goal.
No, I don't think so. I think UEFA make the final decision, and I can't imagine. I think the rules are fairly set in stone. So,
how does that work? Can he be given the goal on the night and then have it taken off him by UEFA?
No, I think they just make the decision. They'll make the decision. It was an own goal. Terry says, we're lucky it's Gibraltar, lads. This performance against nearly any other team on the planet, and we get a hiding. Different games, I guess.
Yeah, the answer I'd have for that is that, it's additional 4 minutes.
4 minutes of injury time. 4 more minutes. Joe Malloy has thrown his eyes to the heavens. How can this be happening? You're here till 10 o'clock either way, Joe, so otherwise you have to try and talk about this for 4 more minutes. Ireland with the ball just on the edge of the area. McGoldrick out to Brady and wins yet another corner kick off Brito this time, and it's on the near side.
Isn't he, Coleman?
Well, the stadium has been clearing out for the last while. Hardly surprising. This has been not the most entertaining way to spend your Monday night. So Ireland not pushing as many men forward. Stevens going back alongside Hendrick.
Staring at Duffy. Have a look who's marking Duffy. Look, isolate the big man. Just put it up for him.
Sent in by Brady this time to the back post. One in the air by Richard Keogh, and he got the header off well. Power behind it, but it was straight at the goalkeeper. Robbie Brady's taking a late claim to get back on free kick and corner kick duties when Ireland resume against Switzerland. What a game that's going to be. That's where we'll get a real sense of the work that Mick McCarthy's been doing. Are you surprised when he's had that 2.5 weeks of a training camp and get together that he didn't spend that with Matt Doherty and Seamus Coleman on the right hand side working on it?
Well, obviously that's not his plan. It's simple as that. If he hasn't played him, I mean that's not the way he's looking at it the moment. Now look, everything's going. Things are going to change throughout the campaign. He'll say I've gotten the results from the 4 games. I think he would have had a very good point up until this game. I think this was the game that he would have looked and said, yeah, this is the one where we go up a gear, we get confidence into the team, we get a few goals, but it just hasn't happened. So this may be the game that kind of knocks us back a little bit, puts us back in our place, and we're not really as good as we think we are. And that'll be damaging to him because he's worked. What he has done very well is he's gotten the spark back a little bit. He's gotten the interest back a little bit, and confidence is a huge thing, and that can have a big effect.
Another great ball from Howerton to McLean on the left hand side. Oh, Robbie Brady scores. Free header at the back post. Lovely football from the Republic of Ireland. The crossfield pass from Howerton to McLean, and then he sent it to the back post over the goalkeeper's head, and Robbie Brady was waiting to head in, and finally Ireland settled this game and guarantee themselves all 3 points. Robbie Brady makes it the Republic of Ireland 2, Gibraltar 0.
Well, he is absolutely delighted, Nathan, because he's had a little bit of a celebration, but there was a split second just after that celebration where it looked like he's had a little sigh of relief. Delighted for him because he probably needs it. Probably the one time in the game where the Gibraltar defence have switched off a little bit, and it's a wonderful ball, I have to say. It's over the goalkeeper's head, it's back post, they're all scurrying back. Where has it come from? That Hourahan diagonal, what is it, all of 70-80 yards. The delivery is fantastic. It's a great ball from James McLean, and he can't miss from there, Brady, can he?
An old school diving header from Robbie Brady at the back post. His 8th international goal in this, his 45th cap, and as you say, I think relief, just pure joy for Robbie Brady. He's had a horrible 18 months with injury, and he gets the goal that settled this game finally for the Republic of Ireland. They lead Gibraltar by 2-0, and they will head into the summer top of their group in qualification for Euro 2020, 10 points from 12. But they're going to know when they're back here at the Aviva Stadium in September for the game against Switzerland, they're going to need a huge upturn in performance. Seamus Coleman still venting his frustration at some of his teammates there as a crossfield ball onto his head. Just went back to a Gibraltar player, and Ireland will just see it out now till the full-time whistle, which has gone. Job done, but not much more at the Aviva Stadium. An own goal on half an hour from Joseph Cipollina failed to settle the Republic of Ireland. They created chances, half chances, without ever really laying siege on the Gibraltar goal, and the second goal didn't come until right at the end of injury time through Robbie Brady, but they got the 3 points, and if it ends up getting Ireland to Euro 2020, well, everybody will surely forget about tonight, because it was a most forgettable Republic of Ireland performance. Quick break, and then more analysis to come from Joe and Stewie. But it's finished here at the Aviva Stadium. The Republic of Ireland 2, Gibraltar 0.
Off the ball on News Talk. News Talk reporter Henry McKean has faced his fair share of challenges down the years.
I just got hit there by a boulder. We can see stuff coming out from inside me as we speak. Oh my God, that's so good!
And now it's your turn to challenge Henry.
Oh yeah! Do you think you have the ultimate challenge for me? Then email me, challengehenry@newstalk.com.
Challenge Henry, only on News Talk.
From great venues to quiet spots, you know where to find them all. As you take in the view from your Seat SUV, you realise you know the city inside out. And with Say It's Open Week from the 17th to the 22nd of June, you can now see it differently. With a complimentary Say It EXS electric scooter powered by Segway with every new model ordered during Open Week. All with affordable monthly payments, a 3-year service plan, and finance solo, there's zero to think about. Find your new Say It at the Say It Open Week from June 17th to 22nd. Terms and conditions apply.
When it comes to appliances, I like mine delivered, i.e. they're in my kitchen at the time agreed. The biggest brands at the best prices, like washing machines from only $179.95, American fridge freezers from only $599.95, ovens from only $169.95. Technology, dishwashers, barbecues, you don't even have to leave your home. Just clickety-click and bingo, your appliances delivered. AppliancesDelivered.ie. Buy online now.
When you're buying groceries, you think about the number of calories, you think about the ingredients, you think about the best before date. But do you ever think about where it was grown? Who picked it? Who packed it? Does your money go into the pockets of local people? It's not always possible, but whenever you can, buy local and support our proud Irish farmers, growers and producers who really do create wonderful products right here. Our local businesses, suppliers and workers are the backbone of Ireland's economy, and they're here for you. Your money goes further when you buy local. Visit buylocalnow.ie to find out more.
At Leia Healthcare, we understand that you have a lot to juggle. So as your health and wellbeing partner, we've introduced our 24/7 mental wellbeing support programme. Confidentially speak about things like your mental health, financial and legal issues, and work-related stress or anxiety. With access for all Leia Healthcare members to 5 face-to-face counselling sessions on applicable schemes. Because it's good to live. Leia Healthcare. Looking after you always.
Terms and conditions apply. Insurance provided by Ellipse Insurance Limited, trading as Leia Healthcare. Leia Healthcare Limited, trading as Leia Healthcare and Leia Life, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Programme available from purchase or on next renewal.
Can NCI help you take that next step in your career? I'm Deirdre Monks, and I'm living proof that it can.
Prove to yourself what you can do with National College of Ireland's wide range of full and part-time courses. Come to our open evening on Wednesday, June 12th from 5 to 7 p.m. in the IFSC. Call 1850 221 721 or visit ncirl.ie.
And finally, we end our tour with the Quiffs of Moher. Not too windy today, perfect way to see the Quiffs in their full majestic volume.
At Volkswagen, to us experiencing the real thing matters. With our master service technicians, you're guaranteed real expertise and 100% genuine parts. And only we can sign our work with the official Volkswagen stamp of approval. Make sure it stays a Volkswagen. Book your classic service for only €169 at volkswagenservice.ie. Terms and conditions apply.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Another great ball from Howerton to McLean on the left-hand side. Oh, Robbie Brady scores! Free header at the back post. Lovely football from the Republic of Ireland. The crossfield pass from Howerton to McLean, and then he sent it to the back post over the goalkeeper's head, and Robbie Brady was waiting to head in, and finally Ireland settle this game and guarantee themselves all 3 points. Robbie Brady makes it the Republic of Ireland 2, Gibraltar 0.
Welcome back to the Aviva Stadium. Joe here alongside Nathan Murphy and Stuey Byrne. It's finished Ireland 2-0 against Gibraltar, which certainly sounds a whole lot better than 1-0.
It does.
Put a bit of a sheen on the scoreboard, makes it all a bit more comprehensive as opposed to
twice as good.
Nervy at the end. So, Stuey Byrne.
I don't think he'll fool Mick McCarthy, but in fairness, just having a look at his body language there when that Robbie Brady goal went in, he didn't flinch. It's almost like he purposely didn't celebrate. And he's looking at him there when the final whistle's gone. Didn't look a happy camper, did his usual stuff, shook the hand of everybody, but doesn't look happy. I can fully understand why. I think this is tonight. I think he might have been expecting them to go for gear, and it's possibly a little bit of a step backwards, or kicking the nuts really, and said, look lads, we're not there yet, we've a long way to go.
The second half was better though, wasn't it? Much better. In terms of possession, they tried to move the ball a bit quicker. Well, it still wasn't great, but it was better than the first half.
I say there was sparks in the second half that you would positives you would take out. The performance of Robinson, speaking on the TV now, we asked at half time, who was that player that can do something a little bit different, that can get turned and try and create something, attract players towards them so that the spaces in behind and he can play little balls in. I think he did do that. As much as he could have done that. Now, it would have been nice to see one or two other players do it. Another positive would have been Hourihan.
Yeah, I mean, that's something they can really exploit going forward, because they're never going to dominate possession like this again for the remaining games of the group. They're just not that team. But I mean, Hourihan's left foot, with Coleman going down one wing, with Stevens down another, if they're clever, if they think about it, that's definitely a weapon in their arsenal, I would think.
It was, because you could see that's how Gibraltar had set up. They had effectively, they kept the bar up the pitch, but the other 10 were tight, congested, and they were deep, which meant that, depending on what side of the pitch you're on, the opposing fullback or outside left or right is wide and has all the space, because all the defenders are pulled in narrow. Hourihan has the ability in spades to deliver that diagonal pass, even to the point that the manager, Mick McCarthy, was telling them to do it. You could see, he said, do it, just do it, keep doing it, keep them moving left to right, and then try and deliver good balls into the box. What I'd say we probably didn't do is that, and we've seen a couple of top quality players, Seamus Coleman won, James McLean, on the receiving end of those passes, and the touch wasn't right. They weren't able to get one touch out of their feet, bang, delivered into the box.
I mean, we were slagging the Gibraltar goalkeeper who couldn't seem to keep the ball in play. It was quite extraordinary at times. There were a number of occasions where Irish players with men 10 yards in front of them put the ball out for a throw-in. There were a number of times where touches were inexplicably bad. Like, it was a sloppy performance.
Yeah.
You can't really put that at the door of Mick McCarthy at times. The players will just have to say, we need to be a bit sharper. I mean, the tempo at times needed a bit more. So it feels like a bit of a reality check for everybody who was saying the O'Neill Keane era is now well behind us and this team are going to play more in the front foot.
Do you know what? I think you hit the nail on the head there, right? That the O'Neill and Keane thing, okay? I think coming into this game, a lot of people, we weren't playing fantastically well. We got 3 fantastic results, in my opinion. Weren't playing brilliant, but what we had done up until now is we'd lifted that negativity cloud.
There was energy about it.
There's energy about it, and I think he was delighted with that, McCarthy. This has now put a pin in that, and I think he'll be sick over that.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is that the big frustration, that it's such a short spell in charge, that momentum feels important, and the next 4 games are going to come quick and fast, September, October, November, whereas now we've got a couple of months, and the last thing in the memory isn't the passion and the fight of the game against Denmark. It's this and the reality that, are we that good? Are we going into a game against Switzerland now wondering, will we even get that? Now, I do think we will, but will we get the energy and the fight?
It's always
that we've
important
seen?
for us, yeah. Positivity, energy, always important for us, because why? We're not technically the best team in the world. We're not technically the best team in Europe. We have technically good players, but a huge part of our game is confidence, the crowd, the team, that sort of engagement between the team and the crowd. Who else? Liverpool, United when they were playing, that kind of stuff. There's a connection there,
But on September 5th, that will be back in spades. I wouldn't worry about that as much. What was actually glaring was we're still looking at Callum Robinson, who played well, McGoldrick involved in the OG goal and did hit the post himself, and Hogan more offside than anything else is my memory of this evening, and Seanie Maguire on as well. Sum total of goals, zilch.
Yeah,
that is a massive problem. So we do go into September 5th against Switzerland. We do go into Georgia away October 12th. We do go into Switzerland away October 15th, and the Danes coming here on November 18th. We are still reliant on a set piece.
Yeah, and you can't. And do you know what? That's a good point, Joe, as well. If you're reliant on a set piece, right? That's one thing I thought we got badly wrong tonight. And here's the reason. How many corners do we have in the game?
It must have been heading for 20.
Yeah. It must have been touching 20, okay? We've got somebody with the ability of Hourihan who can put a ball anywhere, okay? Yeah. We've got Shane Duffy, who was probably a foot bigger than any of the Gibraltar players. Yet, for some reason, we couldn't just say, do you know what, Shane, stand there on your own. Connor, just put it up for him. Just put it into an area for him. Everyone just get out of his way. And we found situations where Duffy's bumping into Keogh. He's nearly had a horrible collision with Sean Maguire. And it sounds so simple. It's almost too simple.
Yeah.
But maybe the players didn't have one player to say, look, just hang it up for him.
Is it dispiriting for midfielders, even defenders, when you have strikers who can't score. So are you trying different things because you don't trust those in front of you to take the chances when you get them? Like, are Ireland going out onto the pitch going, like, even the players themselves thinking, we're unlikely to score a goal from open play?
I'd hate to think that about our players, do you know that, Nathan? But there may be a point there, you know, and I don't think that they'd ever... There's only one time I ever seen an Irish team bear frustration in front of the crowd, and it was the Denmark game here, where we were going, there were several players going around with their head up there, whatever, just, you know, barking at each other, having a go, all in the first half. We had lost that game in the first 15-20 minutes, even though we had scored early. But I'd hate to think you'd see that from an Irish player, that like that attitude where, you know, you're not good enough for, you know, I play for this team and I normally have this top class centre forward and I'm not getting it here, and so on and so forth. I don't think that's us. I think we are, you know, like what we said earlier, we're this team, this unity. So to answer that question, I'd say I'd hope not, but it is only natural in certain players where you might get a little bit of going, jeez, why doesn't he just drop in, or I'm not used to this, like, you know. And that's a management thing. That's where the gaffer has to pull him aside and say, look, you know, can't allow that to kind of creep into the team.
They are 10 points from 12. They'll probably have a few drinks tonight and they'll reflect on things and say, do you know what, let's have a good crack at things now in September. And you would think the mood will be open. Mick did go on and shake the hands of most of the players, and they'll probably be in the dressing room right now, Stewie, as you know, and saying that was muck. We all know.
Yeah, I agree. I think so.
But these games so often are. We're just not the type that will rip a team open 6-7-0. It's not in our DNA. It's rarely happened. Now, this next question, I stress, I do not think this will transform the team. But Matt Doherty will have looked on at Seamus Coleman's final ball this evening and thought, Mick, could you not give me 20 minutes there?
Well, I think, do you know what? I'd be very surprised if he doesn't go to the manager and say, look, what's wrong? What's happened? You know, that's perfectly normal in a football environment. Okay.
I wonder what Mick might say. I wonder what the answer might be.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be an argument in the dressing room in front of the players.
Yeah.
Player goes to the manager. Might even have a beer tonight with him. Say, look, listen, is there something wrong? And if he hasn't done that already, I'd be surprised actually. But I don't know. But you know, like I say, go out for a few drinks tonight. Maybe pull him aside. Listen, can you just have a chat? Because there's something wrong. Do I need to do something more? But there must be something there. There's something not sort of quite right. I don't know what it is. There might be a small personality clash. But I don't think if Matt Doherty goes to Mick McCarthy, he'll be bringing up Seamus Coleman, because Seamus Coleman's never going to be dropped from this team. He's the natural leader of it. But like Enda Stevens' performance tonight, we know Matt Doherty can do a solid job. Even just the confidence he should be bringing from the most unbelievable season. He should be coming into this camp as the most confident player. Comfortable at any level. Saw him at Anfield on the final day of the season. He was the best player for a 20-25 minute spell in the second half, and to not get a single minute. Would you play in middle of the pitch maybe? Games. Would you maybe get him doing that, Glenn, with that wheeling roll? That might free up your hand. Could he do the Jeff Hendrick roll just to the right of centre?
What is the Jeff Hendrick roll?
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I think he could reinvent it. I think that's what I'm bringing it. What I would bring out of the game tonight would be, we've won the game, but we've put ourselves in a scenario, in an uncomfortable situation, because we didn't work them enough for long enough. And I would have a look at Jeff Hendrick and say, you know, what's wrong, lad? Like, he's just a shadow of the player that we've seen before. And you can tell by his body language, he's giving balls away, and he's just doing this sort of shrug of the shoulders and turning around, and you know, so there's something not right there at all. But just the man. That's a job for the manager. This is the fourth. Look, this is his first time in his tenure where he's got to start asking questions, or got to start putting things right. It's all gone quite well up until now.
I think you'll have to get on top of the Matt Doherty situation, though, because there is a couple of months now before the next game. Matt Doherty will probably be doing some interviews ahead of pre-season. This is going to come up. You don't want it becoming something that unravels what seems to be a very good. And even I heard it brought up in the pay-per-view yesterday that Matt Doherty actually has a bit of a leadership role there with Seamus Coleman. Seems to get on very well with Seamus Coleman. They talk football. That you don't want anything that can destabilise the energy that's in the squad, that the sort of camaraderie that's there.
I mean, I do think at the moment it's more of a media talking point than an issue in the squad, and we'll have to see how things play out. Like, to sum up, we have had these evenings on many occasions against poor opposition. It just seems to be an issue for us. We can't seem to tear them open. Maybe it's because we're not used to having that much possession. We're not used to being in these scenarios, that when we're in them, we're not very good at them. And we won't have the vast majority of possession in the next couple of games that we're going to play. It'll be back to the more, hit them on the counter.
Yeah, I think this is the only game. This is the only game really where we're going to have basically a team just stand off and say, "Come and play." So, what way do you look at it, Joe? Do you pick out the negatives and say, "Oh, we're not right going forward," or do you say these two games are over with, they're gone, they're in the 6 points in the bag, and let's look at how we're going to play?
A bit of both, probably. A bit
I
of
think
both.
So, yeah.
A bit of both. And it would be interesting to get Stephen Kenny's honest thoughts after a game like that, because that is what you look at. Even against China, they scored 4 goals. Irish teams don't score 4 goals very often. I think the way the Kenny succession thing was put in place was a nonsense. I think it was John Delaney politically saving his own hide at the time. However, we are where we are. It will be fascinating to see if Kenny can get more of a tune out of the players on these type of nights. That's something I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, well, we should be looking forward to the next game because, the one thing is that it's been difficult few years, Joe, as an Irish supporter, as we all well know. And it deteriorated quite badly. And the one thing you never want to have is this cloud over the soccer team, because it's given us so many fantastic. My earlier childhood is made up of the Ireland team. 88. Italia World Cup, USA, fantastic, and we know what it can do. So, I think we're in danger now of sort of talking ourselves.
No, you're right.
Into that.
You're right. 10 points from 12. 10 points from 12. Look, these games can be banana skins, and tonight certainly wasn't. By the way, before we go, we've teamed up again with the Irish Blood Transfusion Service. It's World Blood Donor Day, Friday, June 14th. We need massive amounts of blood donors in this country. Over 1,000 people receive blood transfusions every week in Ireland. You can check your eligibility to donate at giveblood.ie, and please do. It's a brilliant civic duty to contribute to if you have the means and time, and you can look at #EveryoneCounts as well. All ahead of World Blood Donor Day this Friday, June 14th. Nathan Murphy, thank you.
Cheers, Joe.
And Stewie Byrne, September the 5th, Ireland against Switzerland in Dublin. That will be fun.
Thought that was his first gig. Might be.
Yeah. Stewie Byrne, Ticketmaster.ie, of course, and all good books.
Spotify now.
All right, good night. Tom Dunn on the way.
If you take it, they hand you defeat from the shadows, raw and incomplete, something special, mold from the street.
Get the latest News Talk podcasts at newstalk.com and on the News Talk app.
Get to the heart of great menswear at the multi-award-winning store Galvin Tullamore. One of the largest stores in the country dedicated to world-class brands like Boss, Shark, Barber, Gant, Ted Baker and footwear by Barker and Echo. Galvin Tullamore, where great style meets great service.
A message from Mini Ireland. If you've taken a Mini 48-hour test drive recently, you may be experiencing post-test drive disorder. Symptoms tend to appear after your Mini 48-hour test drive and can range from a complete lack of interest in your current car to constant reminiscing about your Mini test drive. Post-test drive disorder is in fact treatable, and if symptoms persist, we recommend talking to your local Mini retailer about a whole range of great value solutions. Visit mini.ie to book a test drive today. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey Alexia, what's happening at Tato Park this summer?
On Saturday 29th and Sunday 30th of June, Tato Park is hosting FunFest, Ireland's newest and biggest weekend family festival.
Ooh, what's on?
Irish World, circus, street performers and incredible live music from Hudson Taylor, Nathan Carter and many more.
I love Nathan Carter. Alexia, play Wagon Wheel.
So rocks me, mama like a wagon wheel.
Alexia, please stop singing.
Tickets for FunFest include all attractions at Tato Park. Book now, subject to licence.
Join Off the Ball in Abu Dhabi this November 17th to 23rd for the inaugural Off the Ball Open. With flights from Dublin, 5 nights in a 4-star hotel, golf on 2 championship courses, gala awards dinner, Peter Lorre golf clinic and a live Off the Ball roadshow. So where else would you get it? The inaugural Off the Ball Open. Book now at CassidyTravel.ie and check out offtheball.com.
When it comes to appliances, I like mine delivered, i.e. they're in my kitchen at the time agreed. The biggest brands at the best prices, like washing machines from only $179.95, American fridge freezers from only $599.95, ovens from only $169.95. Technology, dishwashers, barbecues, you don't even have to leave your home. Just clickety-click and bingo, your appliances delivered. AppliancesDelivered.ie. Buy online now.
Across Ireland on 106 to 108 FM and at newstalk.com. This is News Talk.